is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media and welcome back to Collectors of the World. This is episode 2. Yes, I have officially renamed World's Biggest Collectors to Collectors of the World, and I have started back over my numbering count. The good thing about that, though, is I was thinking about it. A lot of the guests that I had on World's Biggest Collectors, I never really wanted to repeat guests, but now that I have a new show, I can start bringing on some of those same people that I had on World's Biggest Collectors because it's been a long time since I've talked to some of those people one-on-one. So I definitely want to have some guests that I've had from back in the day back on this show, this different show that's pretty much the same as the older show. But today, guys, it's episode 2. We're talking to, this is an all Ken episode. We are talking to Ken from Ungraduated Media. Ken has started his YouTube channel and his collection really within the past 10 months. And it has grown to be a massive collection in that time. He's got like 15 or 1600 pieces of physical media, and he gets the nice stuff, guys. So we're going to talk about how he has accumulated so much physical media in such a short amount of time, how that has affected him mentally, I guess. We'll get into that a little bit as well, but also just how that has affected him as a collector in this brand new world and his mindset on movies and films and collecting physical discs. He's always, collected in some aspects. It's just now it's ramped up to the extreme level. So I'm excited to get into that with him. We're going to talk about some of the other standard collector-based stuff. We'll talk about him as a content creator. And we honestly got into a variety of stuff. We went completely off the rails at one point and just got into some really like off the beaten path topics. So I'm excited for you guys to listen to this episode. It's a really cool one. Ken is a great guy. He has a great channel, YouTube channel, Ungraduated Media. I will be leaving all of his links down below in the description, Instagram, YouTube, whatever he's on, I'll leave it down below in the description. Definitely make sure you follow and subscribe. So, but yeah, guys, here we go. Collectors of the World, episode 2. I hope you enjoy it. Let's do it. All right, everybody. Welcome to Collectors of the World. I've changed the name. It used to be World's Biggest Collectors. Now, when I had Daniel on, I didn't know what that name was going to be. But now I have Ken. I've got another Ken on here from Ungraduated Media joining me for Collectors of the World to talk about his collecting habits and how it's evolved over time and whatever else we get into, man. I definitely want to dive into you as a content creator as well. How long have you been on YouTube so far?
Not actually that long, and yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's some Ken squared or Ken on Ken action here, I guess. That doesn't sound very nice, but yeah,
Those
man.
Kens.
Yeah, it's weird to talk to another Ken. There's not many Kens that I come in contact with in my life, but
What's fun? Well, let's talk about this real quick.
yeah,
So, do you go by Ken in your everyday life?
I do.
Is that what you've gone by forever?
I have.
Have you ever been called Kenny or Kenneth?
Yes, Kenny by my mother and Kenny by my wife.
Okay.
So I am known as
So,
Kenny to two people.
before this channel, I was pretty exclusively Kenny to everybody, and everybody still calls me that. My wife calls me that. Now, my wife will call me Kenneth if I'm in trouble, and my
Yes.
mom as well. But everybody in my normal life calls me Kenny. I started calling myself Ken on here because it was easier to say when I was starting my videos.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know. I mean, I just know
and then
Ken is
other people
supposed to.
started calling me that, and it just kind of stuck on YouTube. So I'm like literally only Ken on YouTube.
Well,
Everywhere else, I'm Kenny.
in the name book it says it's supposed to mean intelligent and handsome. I don't know if I'm either
Yeah.
one of those things, but anyways, yeah. So I've been thanks again for having me as far as world's
This
biggest
has
or
been
greatest
Kenny Talk with
collectors.
the Kens.
Yeah, I know exactly. So yeah, so I've been on YouTube for only about 8 months. I probably started a channel, at least I had started a YouTube spot like maybe 2 years ago as I was doing podcasting, but I never really was active on it. So
Yeah.
I got into podcasting and did a lot of philosophy and deeper talk, if you will. And much as I love that, I wanted to combine it with the passion of physical media. So about 8 months ago, just started yapping into a camera with a microphone, seeing who
Yeah.
would listen and talking about my hobby and passion being physical media. So yeah, it's been about 8 months, man. And the expansion's grown quickly. very vast. We'll get into that, I'm sure, later, because what's all behind me was not there
Oh
about
yeah, I want to dive
a
into
year and a
that
half
because
ago.
I know you're fairly new to collecting, just what I've gathered watching you,
Yep.
and I feel like we're pretty similar in that respect. So I want to dive into that a little bit. But yeah, Ken from Ungraduated Media. If you guys aren't subscribed to him, definitely hit the subscribe button. I'll leave all your links down below. You got a YouTube, you got Instagram. I know. What
Yep.
about TikTok? Are you on the TikTok
On
yet?
TikTok as well. Yeah, those
He's
Instagrams
everywhere.
and TikToks are trying to grow it out there. The YouTube is growing quicker, but you know how it all goes, man. I'm on all those main places and sharing
Yeah.
the fun stuff of physical media.
Yeah, definitely subscribe. Ken's got great content. You're off to a good start, man. You're doing some good stuff over there. You got the
Trying to.
lighting, you got the ambiance and the aesthetic. I know it looks good over there, man. You got to
We've got
figure
a
it out.
little bit of a political thing
I
going
still
on here.
haven't figured it out, but
We've got a little bit of a red blue action here. This is like Matrix, red pill, blue pill. That's
oh
how we
yeah,
do it.
it's all about red and blue in my state. You got the Kentucky Wildcats and the Louisville Cardinals, man. That's what it is.
That's right, brother. That's right.
But yeah, I appreciate you being here, man. And you pretty much got into your channel and everything. But if you want to promote yourself and anything else you do, I'll give you the time real quick before we get started.
Yeah, I mean,
Other random
again,
conversations about being Ken, about
yeah,
being
I mean,
Ken enough. How's that?
Ken's.
It's cool to be Ken now, since the Barbie movie came out.
I know. I am Ken enough. Yes, I am. I've
No,
told myself that for 40-ish years now, but I really believe it.
but
So,
now it's cool to say
yeah,
that.
that's right, man. That's right. All thanks to Barbie. Go figure. But yeah, I mean, ungraduated media, again, it's what I'll say about it briefly is it's physical media, it's collecting, it's unboxing, it's talking about all the films that I love talking about, and some that are just wild, crazy things, but it's really about stepping back
Yeah, we're gonna
from.
do a deep dive into Goodbye Uncle Tom tonight. Are you
Oh
ready?
my God, man. Yes, listen, if
I
you've
didn't watch
watched
your
that,
review on it yet, but I somebody commented on my video of me showing it off and said that they watched you and you didn't give it a favorable review.
it's it's so ridiculous, and we will talk about it. It is just
I haven't
ridiculous, but
watched it
that's
yet.
yeah. Just prepare yourself if you do watch it. You have got to strap in for that one. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's the kind of shit I love getting into is the perspective, philosophy, the learning behind the film, and of course the collecting and all the packaging. But that's what we do on the channel, and what I love doing is combining those two things. So that's what it's
Yep.
all about, man.
For sure, man. And yeah, like I said, subscribe to Ungraduated Media. Hit the like button on this video if y'all haven't yet. And
For sure.
let's get into it, man. Let's go back to where it started for you. Now,
Hmm.
I know you started your current collection fairly recently. Did you collect at any point in your life before that?
Yeah, so I don't have anything sitting right next to me to kind
Is
of
there some
show
kind of an
anything, but
origin story we can go back to childhood Ken,
yeah, I
VHS
mean,
tapes, DVDs? Where did the love for movies start? Let's start there.
the love for movies ironically started with my love for technology and audio video equipment. So before I loved movies, I loved good sound and good video quality. Of course, that comes from film, but also from music and just trying to level up to the best sound quality, the best picture quality possible. So I
Yeah.
collected baseball cards, and that was where the collector mentality probably came from. But as I got into adulthood and was able to have some um, expandable, disposable income, if you will, in my 20s and into my 30s, and that just grew. As you know, the story is the same for most of us. As you generate a bit more wealth, you're able to throw some money at your hobbies
Yeah.
and your interests. But I wanted to get into home theater, and I wanted to get into it in a pretty big way. And of course, when you're going to get into home theater, that comes along with the territory of movies. And I wouldn't say it was DVDs or even VHS. I got started with DVDs and had a small collection, but really took off with Blu-ray. What was the battle of the two? There was Blu-ray and
HD DVD.
HD DVD. Yeah, so I was
Yeah.
between those two, and we know Blu-ray won
I
out
pretty
throughout
much
the years.
missed that era entirely. I was still clutching my DVDs. I'm like, just kind of waiting it out to see what would happen. Like, because I had the Xbox 360, I was a pretty big gamer in like the 2000s, in my 20s, I guess. And the 360, I think, played the HD DVDs, and the PS3 played the Blu rays. I didn't have a PS3 yet, but my 360 played DVD, so that's all I really cared about at the
Yeah, the
time.
360 was as far as I got on my gaming system. I had everything from Nintendo all the way up, and I vowed to play video games all my life, and
Yeah.
still might occasionally. But I was definitely into gaming and collecting. I wouldn't say collecting, but just buying
My
and
thing
playing video
was
games.
like I didn't think movies needed to be in HD. I just didn't think it was necessary for the longest. I was pretty stubborn about it. And like I was but my games, they had to be in HD. They had to look good.
It's
So
funny. It's still
I
a
had the
thing
HD
today.
TV and everything,
Now
but
it's about like making sure you have the best, fastest, highest bandwidth so that you can stream and play
yeah,
and video share in 4K. So yeah, I've kind of fallen off in the gaming territory, but still obviously very
it's
heavy into
crazy
it.
now. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
did
just can't keep up with it, man.
as soon as I have to buy a new game and then wait 12 hours for it to download, like I'm out. Like
Yeah,
that just
yeah.
takes all the fun out of it.
And I got out right as they were starting to go online. Like, so I think Xbox 360 or Xbox Live was a thing. And I remember playing Madden with some kid in like Japan that just like lined up special teams defense against me all the time and just, cheated
Yeah.
and basically win. And I said, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not playing with this 5-year-old in
You're like
Japan
Vince
anymore.
Vaughn on the breakup.
Yeah,
Ever seen that
exactly.
movie? Yelling at little kids.
Yeah, it's
Um,
fantastic, man.
but I have been playing like the Switch recently, like the Mario games and stuff, because those don't require down. They're still on cartridges, so you can just
That's the
pop
way to
those in
go.
and play them. So I appreciate the Switch because of that. And to be honest, like at this age, I just don't want to get into those like big, expansive open world games anymore. Just give me a side scrolling Mario game and I'm good. Just
Yeah,
something to have a little fun with for like 30 minutes and then I can move on to something else I need to do.
I would get lost in like Legend of Zelda and Final Fantasy. I think Final
Yeah.
Fantasy VII on PlayStation was just the game for me that would just
That was a
ruin
big
my
one.
weekends. Yep, I would just ruin my weekends. Actually, I would love my weekends, but get lost in that game. I just can't. I love RPGs, but I just don't have or I don't make the time for them anymore. But
Yeah, we just
that's
it's
probably where the
hard.
collecting really started. But it ironically was again around just my search for home media space. Even before like home theaters became a thing, I was passionate about wanting to have my own, and from
Yeah.
there moved
Cuz
on to
you have a
4K.
nice setup. You have like a theater almost set up, don't you? A big
I
don't you have a
do.
projector?
Yeah, yeah. So somewhere on my channel, not too far back, maybe 5 months ago, 4 months ago, I did a theater room tour, which is always evolving. But you see behind me all my physical media, but I can't turn the camera around. But if I could, that's where the actual theater is. So the wife and I spent
Yeah.
some time. She did all the design. I did all the AV work, and yeah, it's about as high end as you can get for a
Are you in
projector.
your basement right now?
I am. I am.
Okay,
Yep.
so you got all this set up in the basement.
Yep. Yeah, it's just one whole side of it. Theater room is in front of me. All the physical media storage is behind me. But yeah, I mean, a projector's not going to ever beat out an OLED television when it comes to 4K. But what I have is this thing called it's a switch that basically gets me low latency Dolby Vision, so I can get HDR, HDR10, Dolby Vision. But a projector's never going to beat an OLED television because it's
Yeah.
projecting onto a screen. So it's as good as I can get it, which is pretty damn good. I'm thoroughly happy with it. But an OLED television is going to always have the darkest inky blacks and the lightest, brightest whites. But it's a
Yeah.
laser 4K native projector, which is about as good as you can get for right now. So that coupled with the sound quality, it really is an immersive experience. But as you probably know, not every single film is going to have amazing mixes in Dolby Atmos. So it just depends on what you're watching from a sound quality standpoint. But yeah, as you say, the more that we can get in 4K, the better. Although I don't think every single thing should be in 4K, but I will take most of it in 4K.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I absolutely don't think needs to be in 4K is like found footage movies.
Yeah, yep, I agree.
Um, I just don't think those necessarily work in 4K. Other than that, yeah, sure, there's movies that I don't, need in 4K, but I think that every movie can be enhanced in 4 as long as it's shot on film. Every movie can look better in 4K.
Yeah, no, totally
I
agree,
feel
man. And
like,
yeah, it's interesting to see where they continue to take 4K films and what comes out and what doesn't come out. And I know all the deal with labels and license agreements and Disney and god awful Disney. And we'll
mm,
see what comes with
screw Disney,
Touchstone and what they're doing right now with Sony, perhaps.
Sony, yeah,
Granted, yeah, I mean, I keep up on all the you know basic goings on in the world through largely your channel. I mean, I got to YouTube really checking out folks like yourself. I found Fuzz, and of course, you got folks like Heath and Elliot, and a lot of the Jeff Russos of the world. But you came popping along 8 months ago, and I've probably dissected most of your content in the last year or two.
Yeah.
In my morning workouts, I work out every day religiously, trying to keep myself fit in my in my role, my job I was telling you about earlier in the field
Yeah.
service world. So I listen to you as I work out. I mean, probably not something you expected to hear, but that's how I digest your
Well, maybe I
content.
need to listen to you and learn how to work out more because that's
Well,
something that I lack.
well, at least it gives me an hour every morning to just do something good for myself, but also listen to things that I love. So I used to
Yeah.
listen to music a lot, but I got used to watching content, and it's a little different, but it's something I look
When
forward
did
to
you
every day.
start getting into the blue tube and content? What did it start with me or did it start with somebody else or
Yeah, it was right there with you, and I
was there
really
something
found
that like hooked you into it? Was there like something that you might have looked up? Were you completely oblivious to this world before?
um kind of, yeah, yeah. I
I'm
was a
always interested
collector.
like how people get into like
I
the
was big into Hollywood blockbusters. Like I would buy movies on physical that got
yeah.
released through the big name movies, and there was the big name labels, Universal and MGM, and all the likes. And there was one video of yours that I saw about 4K video quality, and I'm like, why isn't there more films on 4K? And then you go down the avenues of all the boutique labels, and that's where I'm like, what the hell is this? What is Aero Video? What is Vinegar
Yeah.
Syndrome? What is all of these different labels, Second Sight, and the list goes on. So I had no clue what the hell any of that stuff was. I was so used to just the big blockbuster labels being released, Lionsgate and Universals, and Warner Brothers. So whenever you got down those channels is whenever I got super intrigued because I wanted to know. Again, my search was always about the best quality. So I wanted to learn about 4K and 4K movies and 4K videos at home. And I wanted to upgrade my equipment in my theater room because at the time it was just for 1080p. So I wanted to go 2160 and get 4K, but I was learning about all the stuff that was available on 4K. And that's whenever I found you and Fuzz and others that I started just
Yeah.
digesting all the content to learn all that I possibly could.
Cuz I think I noticed you commenting on the videos and stuff like that, but sometimes you don't realize that people commenting have channels themselves
Yeah.
until it's made, until it's somebody brings it to your attention. I think you reference your channel or something sometime at some point in the comment section. I'm like, oh, he's got a channel. And then that's when I check it out and go to it. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I subscribe and everything. Because I
Damn
always like to
YouTube.
discover as many people as I can
Yeah, damn
in
YouTube
this space.
algorithms and what they bring in front of you. Sometimes you don't know how that shit works. But I definitely get
Yeah.
all your updates and a lot of others that I think I follow pretty religiously. It's
And I
probably
think
about,
as it was probably about 6 months ago now, it feels like
yeah, it's been
maybe
about, I mean,
longer.
it's been about eight
Time
months
moves so
since I've,
fast. So yeah, it could have been longer.
it's not even been a year at the time of this recording that I've been on YouTube. So for me, it's been a fast and furious go. And again, being a part of podcasting, which wasn't video, I talked into a microphone a lot, but switching on the camera and actually looking into it while you talk and having to think while you stare into a camera is a little bit
Yeah.
different also. But
Yeah.
I know you know that world all too well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I still get lost when I'm put the thing up there and I'm like, all right, what do
But
I say now?
what's the
Uh,
best part about it though with you, man, and why I think you're so authentic and how I try to be too is you just be yourself. Like don't try to be someone who you're
hmm
not. I think when you try
Yeah.
too hard, people can see through that. And I would rather just be a fumbling, bumbling idiot if that's what it comes down to than trying too hard to
Yeah.
come across as someone who I'm not. So
But you'll always get the people in the comments that are like trying to call you out.
I
Uh,
already had some of that and
you
I
do
just
you
brush it off, man.
you're not doing this and this right. You're not doing this
I
right.
know.
And why don't you do it this way? Oh my God, you talk about yourself for too long. You take too long to
Uh-huh.
get started into the topics. I'm like,
Those
you
are
know
all the
what?
things I
You
hear
don't
too.
have to watch this channel.
Even if you
There's about a
timestamp it.
thousand of us
Even
over
if you
here.
timestamp it, you're going to get people who say that shit constantly.
Because
So,
I look, I edit my stuff, so it's like I know that there's times when it'll be like 2 minutes before I get into the actual topic of the video.
yeah,
But you know
no.
what it was before I edited it? Probably 4 or 5 minutes
I try to stay
before I get to
cognizant of
the
those
actual
things,
topic.
but it's a channel about discussing film. It's like
Yeah.
you're going to have some conversation. It's the whole damn point.
Yeah. And then people are always like, why do you tell people to like and why do you tell people to subscribe? I'm like, well,
Because you're supposed
because
to.
you're subscribed, but the other people, you got to remind them. That's just YouTube. So
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be on YouTube 4 or 5 years ago. If you'd asked me that question, I would have probably said no. And now I'm doing all the same things I used to watch. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, follow, blah blah.
yeah, it's
All that
just
deal.
it's all a part of it because it really does help. Like if you really want to, make it or do anything with the channel and grow the channel to any kind of certain level, like you have to remind people to subscribe, to like, to leave a comment. I mean, that stuff works, you know,
You hope it does at least. And
because people, I've watched tons of videos where I haven't liked, and then they'll say like, oh, have I liked? Okay, let me hit the like button. You
yeah.
know,
And now
it
as a
happens all the
YouTuber
time.
yourself, I'm cognizant of it. So I'm usually liking a lot more because I have my own channel now. So I know,
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't like
how it
anybody's stuff before
I
I
would just go on and
started.
just watch shit that I wanted to learn about and just okay,
And
thank
that's
you.
most people. That's why you'll get,
I
a
know. I
couple
know.
thousand views and 20 likes or something because most people are just stumbling upon your channel and they're watching it and they're not even hitting subscribe.
It's a whole different world,
So,
man.
yeah, it's all interesting and I'm trying to figure it out, every single day. But
I'm with
yeah,
you.
Ken, I thought it'd be cool to have a conversation with you just because you're so new to YouTube and you're also so new to collecting itself. So, did you get into So you just got into like collecting YouTube, boutique YouTube, us talking about this stuff like 8 months ago. And did you start your collection as it is now then?
Pretty much. I had about 50 Blu-rays and DVDs
Just
from
standard
between
Blu
my
rays.
Yep, just standard Blu-rays. About let's see, probably from about the year I don't know 2010ish to about 2016, and then I kind of paused for a while as streaming kind of came on heavy, and I
Yeah.
was checking out streaming, and as I learned, of course, what it was versus physical media and the downfalls of it, not only not owning the films that you're actually thinking that you're renting or paying for, but the bandwidth and the sound quality compression because of trying to fit all that data into an internet bandwidth, you just can't do it. So there's all kinds of different reasons that got me out of that. I still subscribe to some of the things the wife, likes to have different options. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
you can't get
literally,
them wives unsubscribe to them streaming services. That's for sure.
no, she likes to have things at her fingertips. And she doesn't always like what I have, even though sometimes we can find some commonality. But if she can't find something that she wants to watch
Now,
with
is
me,
she into your physical media collection at all, or does she not give a damn and just look at you like you're crazy when you're bringing in all these boxes?
doesn't give a damn really. Looks at me like
Okay.
I'm crazy. Like, hey,
So
you
my
do
wife, my
you.
wife doesn't either.
Yeah. I mean, she'll watch a
Especially
movie
not
with
after
me.
2 years of Blu-ray audit. She really doesn't give a damn now.
You're, dude. I could not do that. I could not do what you do with that. I know you haven't done it
I
in a while.
stopped.
Keep it that way.
I
Yeah,
stopped for a reason.
keep it that way. I know that you got a lot of views and likes off of that. People love to watch your pain, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah.
So she doesn't. She'll watch film with me, but she's not into. She doesn't really understand or care about the collecting. She's like, hey, babe, you do you, whatever, if you like it. But she
Yeah.
does remind me how much I'm spending quite often. And I'm
Hmm.
like, yeah, I know. It's my money though, so I'm not gonna put
Do
it
you
to
ever get
anybody
random
else.
texts sometimes when you're gone? You got another package,
Yep. Yeah,
stuff
it's
like
every week.
that.
I'm gone almost weekly, and at least what's good about it, I come home and I'm like, oh, what's there for me? I get updates on, FedEx texts me and UPS and the U.S. Postal Service as well with packages have been delivered. I'm always like, ooh, what did I order? What did I get this time? And I don't always
Yeah.
keep track, which has been a whole other problem. I at some point put a video up about pet peeves of collecting, and in today's world, as you
That was
well
a great
know,
video. I remember when you did that.
yeah, thanks. It was just, one of the things that's annoying now that you just can't go to the stores unless it's secondhand or whatever is you have to order online. And I'm not able to remember half the shit that I've ordered. And I've
Hmm.
literally double ordered stuff after not remembering. And people
Yeah,
are like, well, create a spreadsheet. And I'm like, I do this shit off the cuff. Like, yeah, I
I
want
do
that.
too.
I want this. And I'm trying to get better at tracking it. And whenever it comes in, I do go into Blu-ray.com. I have the app and I do actually track all
Log
the
it.
stuff. So I have it all archived and curated, which is great. Is about Blu-ray.com tells me I have 1,200 or so in my collection, but with box sets, it
Yeah.
doesn't count them always. So I probably have 1,500 or something. But it still is a pain in the ass trying to keep track of what the hell you order because you can't go grab it physically all the time now, as we unfortunately
Yeah.
all know.
And let's be honest, you say, you got into collecting because you want to own the movie, it looks better, but you're full on like sucked into the packaging aesthetic
Yes.
aspect of it.
I mean,
Like we all are when we get into boutiques and,
I mean,
big
look at
box
this. I
limited
mean,
editions and stuff.
how do you not get sucked into
See,
big
I didn't get
chunky?
that. I didn't get
Yeah,
that.
this was a recent pickup from Second Sight. These big chunky box sets that
I'm
send
sore
out.
about it. I don't even know if it's still available or not.
I think so. I didn't pre-order mine. I actually was
I'm trying
watching.
to be better. I really am.
I'm
And
trying to too, Ken.
because
I'm
at the beginning of the year, I was like, I'm getting every second sight that comes out. And then I was like, I don't know what Borderlands is. I haven't seen it. Do I need it? No. Because at one point with Second Sight, I was like, I'm only getting Second Sights if it's a movie I truly care about
well,
and
Second
really
Sight's
love.
awesome, as you know.
Like The Guest and Drive. That's how I started collecting Second Sight. Love those movies. Those are great sets. The
Yeah,
Witch came out. Love that movie. It Follows. Love that movie. And then I just started getting everything. I got like
yeah.
May and Frontiers, and I'm like, I don't even know what the hell these movies are.
None of them are
Chopper.
great. Yeah,
That's the one
they're
that really burned me. Chopper. I'm like, I already
Chopper.
have
They're
this
not.
movie. I've got like a standard Blu-ray somebody sent me. I'm like,
Yeah,
why did I get this box set?
I don't think my wife knows that I double dip because then if she did know that, she'd think I'm even more batshit crazy. You know.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's some people out there that they absolutely will not do that. They refuse to do that. I mean, that's the great thing about collecting and this hobby is everybody collects in different ways, and I feel like in different points of their collecting journey, people are collecting different ways, and they're
yeah, it's
always
just about doing your
coming up with
thing.
rules and breaking those rules, and then trying to put those rules back in place. And it's a constant like evolving journey. It feels like, and it's
Well,
fun.
you, yeah, it's definitely fun, and you do have to make sure you collect whatever you want and whatever you like. And I don't everything that I buy. I'm telling you right now, Ken, and anyone who's listening, I am probably the biggest blind buyer, blind watcher right now
Oh, I
because
love it. That drives me to collect. Like if I didn't have
yeah,
that, I wouldn't give a shit. What am I going to collect? The 50 movies I've been watching religiously my entire life, and that's it.
right.
The only ones I know that I know frontwards and backwards, and I love them, and I get those movies, and then I'm done.
I go
Because
into it blind in so many ways, not just because of the boutique labels of so much stuff that I don't know exists out there, but yeah, I mean, I'm in the last 2 or so years really delving headfirst off of the Hollywood big label blockbuster, realm and getting into all types of stuff like, straight to video or just B movies like Vinegar Syndrome and
yeah,
having stuff on there. People would say, why the hell do you even bother with that stuff? It's not even good movies. Well, there's intrigue and there is perspective and there is
and
just
that's always subjective, right?
correct. It is always subjective. And even if it is shit to somebody else, if
Unless
I
you're
can
talking about
find,
the movie Bubba Hotep, that's
now I know you,
objectively bad.
I know you love that one. No, but yeah, I mean, as long as you find something that can make you chuckle or laugh, and sometimes they are so, sloshy goodness that you just have to laugh, and sometimes you need that disconnect to just watch something silly. And Vinegar Syndrome has a lot of that. I'm just gonna say it, and they also have some good
Yeah.
newer stuff, as you know too,
They've been
with
stepping
their
up. They've been stepping up. I really love this Going South movie. I
yeah.
really
I
thought this was a great movie.
thought of you whenever I watched that. Of course, that's a whole different, kind of a western with Jack Nicholson
Yeah.
directing it and being in it. It's like a comedy western, but yet not really
Hmm.
a western. I don't know. I liked it. I've watched all the cinematography releases to this point. You're gonna probably get Touch coming soon here,
Yeah,
which
I
I
got
guess
Touch, and I got that one coming out in May pre-ordered. I forget what it
yeah.
was called.
I really
Dangerous
look forward
Games
to
or
it.
something, I think.
Dangerous Games is gonna be their next one, but yeah, this is the
Yeah.
just came in my subscriber package. I think 2 days ago. But
Okay.
yeah, interesting one
So
too.
you got the
Interesting.
Vinegar Syndrome subscription.
I do, yes, which I know that's
So
a controversial topic in and of itself. But
no, 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 no. I mean, I've thought about getting it numerous times. I would like to get it next
some
year.
people say it's worth it. Some people say that it's not. I say if you have the money to throw at it, it's not cheap, obviously. But if
If
you
I would
can
have known they were
afford
going to
it,
have the year that they're having right now at the beginning of
yeah.
the year, I would have got it because
Well,
I've been really enjoying the stuff that they've been doing this year. And there was some
yeah,
stuff that I wanted to get, but I just sat out that's come out. But I love the Western they did, Five Card Stud. I thought was a really great movie. And the Dr. Hitchcock movie was
Yep.
really good. And Phase 4. That's probably my least favorite, but I thought it was still good.
I saw that one too. The ants. They could have did more with it. Started
Yeah.
off pretty well, but then they just staying in that science observatory or whatever the
Yeah, they could have
entire
done
time.
something more with it, I feel like, but I'm sure they were on a budget. The only thing that turns me off about it is that the things I love collecting, Vinegar Syndrome, is VSUs, and now the cinematograph. I
However
think is
you
how you're
say it.
supposed to pronounce it. They're not included, but I know you get those at a discounted price.
Right.
Now, when you have the subscription, you pre-order those and they come with your subscription.
So the only things that come with the subscription is their monthly packets, like the
Yeah,
cinematography or cinematography, however you say it. They're separate, so they don't
cinemato
come.
cinematography, I think is right.
It just sounds
Cinematography.
like it should be cinematography.
It's not
Um,
cinematograph, it's cinematography. I think it's how somebody told me
Cinematography.
to say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So cinematography, I have to order separately, but yes, it would come with my monthly subscription. So any VSU, VSL, VSA is not a part of the subscription. So
So the cinematography comes with a subscription?
no, it does not. It's not a part.
Oh.
Now, if I order
But
it
you
separately,
order it and then it comes with it though, right? It comes with
correct.
your other
Yeah,
stuff at the same time?
correct. But
Okay.
yes, so but what's cool about the subscription though is you'll get shit like that 10 pictures show, what was it called, that
The lost
that
picture set?
yeah, that lost picture set came with just as part of your subscription. So granted, you can argue a lot of that stuff isn't great films, but it's the darker, more hidden Vinegar Syndrome type stuff that some people just love. And I'm getting into it and learning to appreciate it for what it actually is. But it's 10 films
Yeah.
on this massive box set. So you can argue, is that worth it or not? To me, it is. And not everything that they release is going to be amazing and worth it. But yes, I enjoy it for what it is. And then to your point, I order every VSU and VSA and VSL and all their different channels that they have, which is hard to keep track of. Much as I love Vinegar Syndrome, it's hard. They have all these different lines now and the whole
Yeah.
cinematography thing as well too. But they're good at making collectors want to collect their lines, and
Oh, they're the
boy, I
best in the
gravitate.
business at branding and
Yeah,
packaging and
packaging bar
marketing.
none.
Like, yeah, they're the best. There ain't nobody even close to them. I
No,
feel
there's
like at
some
this
that I
point.
think are trying to emulate it. They've caught on to the packaging piece, and they know collectors go nuts over it. So people are, I think, targeting the Vinegar Syndrome business model, trying to do it.
Just
But
the entire model of what makes them different than everybody else is all the other labels are announcing stuff like months in advance. But the model of announcing it and then a month later it comes out,
yeah,
like it just makes you so excited.
yeah,
Like every time, every month that hits, you're getting those announcements and you know you're going to get them at the end of the month or at
exactly.
the least the first week of the next month
Yeah.
if you're not a subscriber.
Well, I
Um,
love them, man. Half of that shit behind me is all Vinegar Syndrome, so it's half my shelf. 450
so
collector.
you,
So
if you started collecting last year, so the moment you started collecting, you got into Vinegar Syndrome and you subscribed, correct?
yeah, yes, and I probably researched and watched a bunch of videos, and half of them were saying to do it, half of them were saying not to do it, and I started to kind of listen and pay attention to what's all coming out from Vinegar Syndrome. I pre-ordered some
Did you
stuff, and
watch Celeste de la Cabra's video?
I've seen some of Celeste's stuff.
She had a great breakdown of just all the money you would be saving and all the benefits of doing the Vinegar Syndrome subscriber. I
I
think she did
think
it
I
2 years
did
in a
see
row,
that
actually. I
one.
think
Yes,
last year and this year.
I think I did see hers, and I did absolutely
Just like
appreciate
crunched
what
all the
was awesome.
numbers and just like
Yes,
laid it all out there.
yeah, yeah. So it didn't take me long to just go ahead and throw the money at it and subscribe. So, but see, I'm the kind of person where Ken, I'm all over the place. Like I will get into anything. Like I have sci-fi as like
Yeah.
my main genre that I probably love the most. But I go from Vinegar Syndrome to Radiance Films. I mean, it's you can't get any different. Although I will say, Radiance came out with Doctor Hitchcock as well too. It's just a Blu-ray. I know Vinegar Syndrome
That
has
was
the
a
4K.
UK only release, wasn't it?
It was, but I also
It
have a
was.
subscription to them, so I subscribed to
Okay.
Radiance early
Did they
on.
start that up recently or is that something they've had since the beginning?
So I missed from the very beginning when they launched in January of 23. They had some pre-announcements about signing up for their annual subscription, and I missed out. They only sold so many subscription packages. It was like some limited number, which was kind of weird how they did it. But I made sure I bought everything throughout that year, even the UK stuff. And once, I think every October is whenever they do their annual sign up for the following year. So October of
Yeah.
23, I made sure I purchased the sign up for 2024. So, but again, I mean, they're like, as you know, they're compared to the Criterion kind of esque, but it's not all, pinky finger type of stuff. They do a lot of different types of things, from westerns to um, other foreign type films that are just obscure in nature. Not all of them
Have you watched
are
a lot
very
of the
well
stuff that
known.
they put out?
Yeah, I'm halfway through everything that I think I've gotten from theirs. Their very first release, The Working Class Goes to Heaven, I think is what it was called. It's an Italian film that's about, like, the struggles of socialism, or not really socialism in general, but just how you, as an individual or a part of the system, right? You wake up, you
Yeah.
go to work, you go home. So it's just a great film. And then they go into all other kinds of different foreign films and genres. But then they have things like, oh, what the heck? I'm trying to think. They have some other well-known films that are out there that are probably,
I've been meaning to check out my Messiah of Evil because I heard a lot of people say good things about
yeah,
that one.
that was a good one as well
I
too.
haven't watched it yet.
But they're all over the place. And I think Francisco Simone is his name. He's a gentleman that came from Arrow Video, 12 years at Arrow, doing some kind of directorship there with the
Yeah.
Arrow releases, and took it to his own label. So he wanted to do his own thing, and I wanted to support that, and I have, and I've been delving deep into all they do. But again, it's my tastes that I'm into are very vast right now, but I still stick to
Yeah.
sci-fi is probably where I like, where my heart goes. Big Trekkie and love Star Wars and all those types of things, but I'm all over the place right now, man. I love
I
everything I
hear
can
you,
get my
man.
hands
Like,
on.
that's what I love about this the most is that it's opened my mind so much
Yeah,
to just all different types of films that I would have shied away from before, and you know,
exactly.
just because they looked awful or whatever. And it's opened my mind to all different types of movies and all different qualities of movies, if you can even say that,
Yes.
because like I said, film's subjective, but um, I've just learned to appreciate movies on a different level now than I feel like I did 10 years ago. You know,
I can
it
concur with
was
you
it
on
was
that.
always just good or bad. A
Right.
movie's either good or it's bad, and there's just a lot more nuance in film, I think. And there's different things that you can take away from different movies and appreciate about them, other than they're just good or bad.
Right. But don't you find too that sometimes just even talking about them, like, unless you're talking into your camera or you're commenting on YouTube with the collectors in this realm, this brotherhood, sisterhood, if you will, like everyday Joes and Sallys, they don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like if I'm talking to family or I'm talking to people at work
Yeah.
about something, like, so what are you into? And I'll rattle off a bunch of shit. They're like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, yeah, forget it.
You don't understand.
If it's not like Oppenheimer or Barbie, which again is where I was many years ago, and now I'm appreciating, as you say, diving into the different contexts of all that's out there. It just further helps you realize, good and bad, and
Yeah.
there's good in so many different genres and so many different films. Even things that are bad, you still sometimes like to collect, and if nothing else, for the packaging, right?
Yeah. And, who's to say that if you think a movie's bad, this is why I keep Bubba Hotep. In 10 years, I may want to revisit it and reevaluate it. Maybe I'll
That's
love
true.
it in 10 years based on what I've seen since. Because the movies that you watch are building upon your film knowledge and your film tastes. Every movie you watch, I believe, transforms your own tastes in some way.
Well said.
Um, so if I watch 1,000 more movies before I watch Bubba Hotep again, like my taste can be completely different than they were the
Yeah.
previous time I watch it, and I can learn to enjoy it on a different level.
I don't know if you'll ever learn to enjoy this. I mean,
that yeah, that person they may be watching now, so I'm not trying to say anything bad about it, but that person left me a very long comment about that movie, just how offensive and wrong the movie was, and I shouldn't be talking about it
well, see,
on the channel.
I was worried about that, in all honesty, after I watched this, not knowing what it was, and someone told me, "Hey, you should probably do a little bit of research before you just blind watch." And I'm like, I get doing some. I literally bought this because it was Blue Underground, a 4K, and I wanted to have a Blue Underground 4K. I have many of them, and I wanted this one, and it looked
Oh
like it
man, they do
was
great work.
Yeah, but
I'm
I
happy
didn't
to see
know it.
him still going.
I knew it had something to do with slavery, and it had something to do with maybe an uh, you know, racial relationship. That's all I thought, and it's literally an Italian Mondo film where they make fun of African Americans, and it's
Mm.
basically meant to shock and awe.
Those Italians are wild, man.
Yeah, they are, but
They
you
don't
know,
care.
the two directors who did this, as disgusting as the film really is, you can learn to appreciate it on the simple fact of how disgusting the act of slavery was, right? And
Yeah.
nobody's going to sit there, I would hope, and say, "Oh my God, yeah, that was always a good idea." No, of course it wasn't, and that's what I'm embarrassed for is like humankind, and like how could we even have gotten to that point? But it's a part of history. But I didn't know going into it that it was literally the most depraving, in your face way to basically make fun of anybody pre-Civil War who thought slavery was a good idea. So it's done in this very condescending manner, but it's done in almost an embarrassing way, to wake people up to saying, "How could you ever have even thought that was a good idea?" But I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I didn't go into it knowing it was that. So I'm watching this like, "Oh my God!" Like I can't. I've I've seen a lot of films, not as many as you have, or probably most of the listeners to your show watching. This is the worst
You might
film I've
have,
ever
Ken.
seen.
I don't watch my collection. You know that, right?
Well, I mean,
I
you
don't watch it.
do
I don't watch
whenever,
movies. I just
yeah,
buy them
okay.
and put them on the shelf.
That's what people say. I know you watch them, but it is hard to keep up with them all whenever you're getting them sent to you or you purchase them. It's hard to
Yeah.
keep up with them all. But
I was doing really good the first 3 months of this year. I was doing like 40 movies a month, and I've fallen off this month.
yeah, I try to log
Yeah, I got a
on
lot of stuff going on.
I try to log it on Letterbox. I try to go into Blu-ray.com and say that I've watched it, and I'm keeping up a pretty good a movie a day. But with my travel, if I'm caught up on work, I may just throw on a movie, uh, which is kind of cool. One quick digression that I'm trying to get into and trying to teach people if they were interested in doing. I got to do like a whole mini series on this. I am I've learned how to burn my collection to what's
And
known
so I
as
was going to
network
ask you.
attached storage. Yeah, so I am slowly burning my 4Ks and Blu-rays to a NAS unit. And I did one video on it, but I'm gonna have to do like a whole mini series on how to really, at least how I set this up. Because while I care about the physical copy, of course, when I travel like I do, I can't possibly keep up whenever I'm on the road. So I want to be able to take my movies with me and watch them at hotels or watch them on planes. And when you have this app called Plex, I don't know if you've heard of Plex or not, but
Yeah.
it's basically an app where you can put your own photos, your own home media. You can do, it's like a home media server, but also your own films, your own movies, whatever you've burned or purchased, you could put there, and you can play it wherever you want to go with it on vacation. So I'm starting to do that so I can just keep up with watching stuff because I have a job, Monday through Friday. I travel and I can't be at home watching physical media whenever I would want to. So I'm learning about all of that, which is kind of cool. And it's also a way to preserve your films too. God forbid something happened to your collection. Not like you'd want to ever not have it physically, but at least you have it all in the cloud, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. Perfect
Yeah,
sense.
it's kind of cool.
Um, do you know it? Does it feel like it's like the same type of quality when you're doing that?
No, it's kind of like streaming, but nothing will beat for me the
Like,
physical.
is it like streaming?
It is like streaming,
You don't
yes.
notice like a severe
Oh
downtick in
no,
quality or
no.
anything?
So back to that point then. So when I do it, I don't compress any of it. So you got to have a lot of storage space, but storage is cheap these days. So brace yourself whenever you hear this, probably. But I have 20 terabyte hard drives, that are spinning that are meant to be like enterprise level grade that are 24/7 runs. So they hold a ton of storage space. So you can buy a bay that you put these hard drives in, and I have a 6 bay set, and that can be expanded by another 10, so it can hold 16 hard drives, each at 20 terabytes a piece. And 4Ks and Blu-rays uncompressed, I can hold thousands of films and
Yeah.
not have them compressed, so that they are literally like for like quality. The only thing that would be a little bit different is if you have a 4K burned to your NAS unit and you're trying to watch it on your tablet, it's going to transcode that down because your tablet and that airplane's Wi-Fi is not going to be able to show 4K quality. So it might transcode it down to a 720 or a 1080p. But if you were to watch it on a 4K capable device with the proper bandwidth, its exact um, like for like, sound, atmos. It all depends on how much you've compressed or not. Some people will compress them down because they don't have the storage space. But I advocate, as I've learned about this, if you have the storage space, don't compress, because then you're keeping your films like for like as best as possible. So yeah, I'm learning as I go, just like I am the physical media. I'm a sponge and a lifelong learner, always trying to figure out the best way to do things. And I came across that idea, so I'm like, screw it, I'm going to go for it and learn how to do this. And I'm going to always be collecting physically, and I'm going to always prefer to watch them physically and touch them and hold them and
Yeah.
open them. But if I
Well,
can't,
that's another
it's
thing I
nice
was
to
going to
have that
ask
option.
you. Do you take movies with you that you haven't seen in the collection? Is it important for you the first time viewing experience of a movie, you have to watch it physically? Or are you okay with watching it, the burned copy of it?
I take them with me the first time. Now,
Okay.
not always 4K, because you can't, because I don't know where I'm going. It's going to have a 4K television,
And
and
can you get the special features too?
you can burn the special features. Yeah, you can literally select what you want off of the disc. So I have, in some
So when
cases.
when you bring it up, you can select it. You have the
Yep.
menu screen just like you're watching at home.
Yep. You have to go in, and like there's a program called Make MKV. There's a couple other ones that you can use, but Make MKV is one of the more well known um, templates to use. You got to have the proper firmware on your drive to be able to burn 4Ks, but largely when you pull it up, it's literally like, yeah, hey, I want to keep this, and this, and I don't want to have this. And you can burn the entire thing right
Yeah.
into one file, or you can separate them. What I like to do is separate mine so that I have just the movie, and then I can have the special features somewhere else. So I only do that for the films that I really love. But to answer your question, I prefer to, if I'm not flying, if I'm just driving for work, I will take a Blu ray player and my actual Blu-rays with me on the road and watch from the hotel, because there
Gotcha.
is something about doing it that way. And probably not for every film. Like if it's some schlocky B movie that, you know, I just opened it up and burned it and haven't watched it at home. Sometimes it's fun to just on the road throw it on from
Yeah.
my NAS unit, which is, it's able to be dialed into remotely, and using Plex, you can take it wherever you have a tablet or whatever connection you have. You can watch on your phone if you want to. So, but if I like the movie, I'm not going to not watch that physically. I have to watch it physically first before I watch it on
Yeah.
Plex or something like that.
Understandable.
Yep.
Understandable. So let's go back to you getting into collecting a year ago. You've already amassed, where you're saying, about 1,500
Yep.
pieces of physical media in a
Yep.
year. That's a lot.
It is a lot.
That's
And
a
I'm not,
lot to accumulate in a very small amount of time. Because
it's a lot.
I got started really, I would say, in 2017, like
Hmm.
really started, like steel books, premium edition, Screen Factory, all that stuff. And this is, 7 years later. And I think I've got like 3,500 to 4,000, but that's 7 years.
Yeah.
You're talking 1,500 in 1 year.
Yeah.
That has, at any point in this time period, has it gotten a little overwhelming for you
Not
to collect
yet.
that much at
Um,
once?
what's overwhelming, if there is anything, so I have an abundant amount of
And
space.
I don't know if you know Basement Blues, Tony over there,
I
Basement
do.
Blues.
I
That's
don't know him, but
that's
I
his
know of
haul
him.
every month,
Yeah,
1,500. So,
the dude's
but
insane.
for the
And
average person, that's a lot.
yeah, he is a machine, and I've watched a lot of his stuff. I saw him on, I think when I first saw him was on one of your roundtables,
Yeah,
one of your monthly roundtables, and I was like, who is this guy? He has like every edition of everything that got released, and hey, that's his thing. I don't have any judgment. You do you, right?
yeah.
But yeah, so
Oh
not
yeah, I'm only
overwhelming.
messing with him because I feel like he'll be watching this.
Probably, and I know he is. He's an advocate of your show. He's been on your show quite a bit, so
Yeah,
he's awesome. But the overwhelm for me, if there is any, is you always have FOMO. Of should I order this before it gets out of print? Should I just click buy now? It's going to come down in price. I'm thankful enough in my life to not have to worry too much about the spending of it. It's still the keeping up with it though. Like I want to catalog all of these, so they come in monthly. I'll set them all aside, and like now, I'm doing like a monthly review. Yours is called Physical Media Lives. Mine's
Yeah,
Physical Media Forever. I totally bit off your style with that, but um,
you're all good, man. We all
it's
bite off each other. It's all
Physical
fine.
Media Forever is what I'm calling it. But it's my monthly go through what I picked up. And some months are, they're about 30 films, between 20 and 30 every single month that I have. And trying to log all that, catalog it, file it all behind me. I'm trying to do alphabetical order for the most part. And not in all cases, but by boutique label. So my Vinegar Syndrome's
Yeah.
all in alphabetical. I got some Kino Lorber that's in alphabetical. I got my Arrow all alphabetical. So the big labels I don't really worry about. But that can be a bit overwhelming just trying to keep up with it and
Yeah.
then create content and stay on top of it. That's a lot on top
Have
of
you have
working a
you
9 to 5.
have you done a lot of backtracking? I imagine because there hasn't been 1,500 releases that were probably worth your time that have come out in the past year. I imagine you've gone back and tried to collect a lot of the stuff that came out before it.
Yeah.
Have you done a lot of that? And do you
Yeah.
worry about when you backtrack, are you still worried about getting that stuff in the exclusive packaging that it came out in and paying that
Yes.
extra money?
Yeah, that does bother me. I want to get any release that I'm trying to get now, especially, I want in the limited edition release set. Like, I don't, if it had a slipcover, I want the slipcover.
Okay.
If it was in a big box set, I want the big box set. So sometimes, like, I still will for Kino Lorber and for some other very good boutiques, even Arrow, I'll go back and get it without the special edition. But I'm the kind of person, Ken, where if I really want that, I'm going to the secondhand market, and it pisses me off to pay double the price. But I've
Hmm.
had to do that numerous times on eBay. I'll give you one example with Lionsgate. You're the one who turned me on to the Lionsgate 4K steelbooks when they were Best Buy and now
Yeah.
Walmart. And I obviously didn't get all of those as the time I kind of got into collecting. I started to get some, but I wanted to go back to the very first Lionsgate 4K steelbook, and it was obviously long out of print. So I had to go onto eBay for like 25 of the first 50 that got released and paid double the damn price. Even that Rambo set that I know you got gifted,
Mm. Did you get that?
I bought that off of
Oh
eBay
my
for like
God. How much was that?
five
Jesus
hundred
Christ.
dollars.
I know people
So
that still want that and they missed out on it and they will
yeah,
not pay that to
yeah,
get
it's
it.
up there somewhere on my shelf back there. But yeah, it came in
I don't
pristine
even know if mine
condition.
would sell for that because it's got like a dent in the side.
Yeah, mine's almost pristine. It's still wrapped, but it has a little dent because I know, as you know, that Best Buy or whoever botched the shipping or storage of
Yeah.
those. But
You know,
yeah,
I saw
so
that thing in my Best Buy for at least 2 months on the shelf and it went down to like $75 and I still never got it.
isn't that wild?
Still never got it because I don't know. I just, when it was a slow arc for me to build up to where I am now with what I spent on physical media
Yeah,
because, I was still dipping my toes in the very beginning. I was getting stuff, but I was not getting everything that I wanted. So I had to pick and choose, and I
yeah,
just
and I'm
chose
still
to
not
not
getting
get the Rambo Steelbook set.
anything close to everything that I want to get. I do have to have some restraint, and if it wasn't for my wife, like I'm not going to put us in the poorhouse, but if it wasn't for her double checking me, I'd be ordering a
Yeah,
lot more shit, and it would be overwhelming.
yeah.
But yeah,
So she's
that's where
auditing
I.
you behind the scenes,
She's the
just
one
not
who
in front of
pays
the
the
camera.
bills. She's the one who pays the bills. So I go to work and make the money. She's the one who pays the bills. So she
Yeah,
knows with the credit
she's
card
in
bills
charge of the
how much I'm
finances.
spending.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear
Yep.
you. Um, so have you gotten complete on anything? Since are you complete on Lionsgate Steelbooks, or
I
do you care
am.
about Scream Factory or anything like that?
I love Scream. Well, I wouldn't say I love Scream Factory, but I am not like I had to pick and
Because getting into
choose.
Scream Factory now, it's like
Correct.
they're
Correct.
not as great as they used to be. And
And it
even
has
when
way
I
more
got into
catalog.
them, like people would say that they weren't even great. But when I got into them, I really started getting into them when they were doing like Candyman and Urban Legend and all these movies I love from my childhood. Um, but and then the Friday the 13th box set came out and that lit the world on fire. I remember when that came
Yeah.
out.
I have a
Um,
lot of Scream. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. I'm sure you have way more. I probably have like I don't know, maybe 100 in my collection, but they're all more their newer stuff. I have not gone in their back catalog. What I did was I picked what I knew I could complete.
well,
The
now with
Lionsgate
Screen Factors, like
steelbooks.
they're upgrading them all to 4K anyway. So it's almost
I
like
know.
I view it
I
as a
know.
second chance because I wasn't there. for a lot of the first run Blu-rays
Good
back in
points.
2012 through
Yeah.
2017, 2018.
Yeah, so I've picked and chosen what I could complete easily. All the Lionsgate steelbooks, I have every single one of those to this
So
point
you got
still.
every single one of those. What was the
Every
first
single.
one?
Let me think here. It's going back. It's near the time that the Psycho one came out. Total Recall's probably back in that time frame. I don't know the very very
I'm trying
first
to
one.
pinpoint like Dirty
Yep.
Dancing is where I can pinpoint where I they caught my attention. And I was like, "Oh god, they're doing some really cool stuff with
Terminator
these
Two,
steelbooks."
T2 is
See,
one of my
Terminator
favorite
2
ones.
came out later that year. Dirty
Yeah.
Dancing was like right at the beginning of 2021. I think Terminator 2 is at the tail end of 2021 with
Someone on
American Psycho and
someone on
Apocalypse Now.
YouTube, or I found a link somewhere. Yeah, Apocalypse Now. I found a link that someone was tracking all the way back that showed the very first 4K Lionsgate steelbook, and
Because
they were keeping
Halloween
up on
came
it.
out before then. I think
Yep,
Halloween Steelbook came out 2018, 2019, and there were some other ones. They just weren't as hot and heavy, I don't feel like, in
no,
the beginning. And then
no,
they
they weren't
started
as.
really ramping up. And it was mostly tied to like new releases, like their new movies. Chaos Walking, I think, was one of them.
Yep, yep. That's a
Sicario
weird
was a
one
big
too.
one.
Yeah, Chaos Walking was a very very strange film. It's an anxiety building film because you're hearing people's thoughts as they're moving around. I don't know if
I
you've
haven't
ever
heard
watched that
great
film,
things
but
about it. I never watched it.
it's a strange film. But yeah, I do have them all. They're all back there behind me, and even like like people criticize me for stuff like this. Let me grab this real quick. Like people are like, that they're gonna do like an entire like John Wick of the entire series. Like, why are you
Yeah.
just gonna buy 1 through 3? But I had to have it because it's a Best Buy exclusive, and
I almost bought that a couple of times.
yeah, and this was like $80, I think, at its cheapest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I have all of those, and I have all the Radiants. I'm trying to get all the Vinegar Syndromes, every single one, and
With a
that
slipcover.
means yes, because what Vinegar Syndrome does is they will here. I'll show you one right now. So what's cool about them, and you may know this, but whenever you miss out on a slipcover, you can get one back. So this is Ice Cream Man,
I
and
need that slipcover.
yeah, so it was standard edition, and what they'll do is if you have enough points, this little gold emblem here signifies their merchandise club. I think it's called their media club. So you can exchange points and get these like kind of newly commissioned. Sometimes they're the original slipcovers, and sometimes they're newly commissioned. So what I'll do, like here's a film called Prey that was just long gone out of print with the slipcover, and then every month they'll come out with newly released slipcovers.
Are those on the
Separate.
site though, or did they just make them available to subscribers?
You have to. It's on the site, but it's underneath the merch club. They have like a tab called Merchandise
Yeah, I don't
Club.
think I've noticed that. See, the one slipcover that I got was Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Yep, I have that
I
too.
got that. That was a new slip. Are those the same slips as they did before? Or are those new artwork slips?
These sometimes they're new and sometimes they're the same ones, but you'll always know because they're going to have, if you ever see one that has that little gold emblem on it, it's a reprint,
That's
which
a reprint. Okay.
I'll take the reprint over not having it at all. But it changes month to month, and I'm pretty sure it's not just for subscribers. You just got to go on and pay attention to the merchandise club, and then pull up their slipcovers because they're always redoing out of
Gotcha.
print slipcovers. So, and usually
Interesting.
they'll tie it to what's getting low in their catalog. So usually they're under 500, and they're going to be going out of print, and they'll slide in a new slipcover with it to kind of help initiate it. It's kind of a smart, I think, marketing tactic because they know, again, people want their releases with slipcovers. So they do about 5 or so different ones a month as they transition through their out of print or trying to get out of their out of print catalog. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. How are you on Arrow Video? Are you trying to go back and collect all their boxes as well?
That's not going to probably happen. Well, it could if I wanted it to, but they've been doing it for so long. I've kind of at this point just resigned to the fact of I'm going to have what they release at this point on, and I know they're not having the best 2024 at this point, but after that killer
Yeah.
2023, I had all their stuff last year, and I'm getting all their stuff this year too. So I've just
I'm trying to
committed
tell
to.
everybody to temper their expectations with Arrow
I
this
know.
year. They're not going to be the same as last year. It was an unprecedented run
Yeah,
that
but you
will
still
not be
have to love them.
repeated.
You still gotta love them,
I,
and
I
I'm
still think
just
they're doing good stuff. I mean, I love the shootist and that one, the 10 star. I like
yeah.
westerns, so I'm all the westerns that people are doing. I'm super happy about.
Yeah, I know you've recently gotten into westerns, which I haven't really been a
Yeah,
big westerns person, so I'm gonna have to try to expand my horizons. I don't
I love
dislike
those
them.
Italian western box sets they do. The
The
Savage
spaghetti
Guns,
westerns.
Blood
Yeah.
Money, like those were freaking awesome.
You were the one I think that I heard Django from, and I'm like, what is this reference quality Django film?
Oh,
And
it's
I
the
had to
best,
check
one
it
of the
out.
best 4Ks I've ever seen.
Yeah, so I had to get that one, and that one I think I missed out on the slipcover, but I'm just like, screw it, I have to see what this 4K quality from Arrow Video looks like, so I got it, and it's just a standard edition, but still love it. It looks amazing, and it's a pretty damn good film too. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm not gonna go
completely different
crazy.
than Tarantino's Django, but I loved
Yeah,
it. I
yeah,
loved it.
yeah. But I'm gonna keep getting all Arrow's new stuff, and if I get the bug for something that's an older release that I never got the big box set of, I will buy it. Like I was the person who went and bought the original Tremors from Arrow, the big chunky box set, because I saw they were doing the second one, and I didn't have the first one, so I went back on eBay and paid double the damn price, like $100 to get the
Yeah.
damn original chunky box set
Damn.
because I wanted both of them. So yeah, you got to pick
I
and
got
choose
lucky
your
as hell with
battles.
that one. I skipped out on it when it first came out, and then I ordered it. I was like, I can't not get this, and I ordered it. And right after that, they went out of print, and
Dude,
everybody was
yeah.
like, "These are never coming back."
I got the second one for sure, but I didn't have the first one. I wasn't collecting at that point in time,
Yeah,
being about a year or so into this. So yeah, there's a lot of regret, I guess, but there's millions and millions of copies of stuff out there, man. You just can't have it all. So I'm telling myself that. I'm just happy with what I have, and if I want to
yeah.
really
Well, I
passionately connect with
asked you,
something, I
do you
will.
feel overwhelmed? But do you ever? Does it bother you sometimes that you didn't get into it years ago?
Yeah, yeah, kind of does because
And you're just
you
like,
kick
I should have been
yourself.
doing this crap all along.
Yeah.
But
And
you
then
get into stuff at just the right moment, I believe, I guess,
you
when
do,
you're
and like you
able to.
say, the thing about it, people will say, "Oh, you could have so much money selling that, and you're going to make money in second market." I don't ever intend to sell any of it, so part of me is like, as much as I'd love to have all that stuff,
Yeah.
it's just more space that I'm gonna have to figure out. And I have plenty of space in this house. It's a big basement, but eventually you'll run out of space. I mean, even Tony, Basement Blues, God bless him, like the space he has, I see his haul. Like it's this complete, rows upon rows of
Yeah.
DVDs and Blu-rays and
He
4Ks.
had to put shelves in the middle of his room now.
It's in. I haven't seen his more recent videos, but I got to check that out. But like my wife's gonna kill me one day because the basement's pretty much mine, but she wants it
Yeah.
apart and how she kind of wants it to look. She's like, if you're gonna just take over all of this, I'm not gonna help you with it. Like you just do your own thing down there, which is fine, I guess.
Yeah.
If I
See,
have
I
to
got the
do it
living room
anyways.
area out there, and then we built a room for me over here on the side, and that's where I'm at. That's where my movies can go in this room. And I'm like, at
Yeah.
some point it's going to be spilling out into the to the
So
main
Michelle,
area.
so Michelle's not like too strict on you about like having stuff everywhere. Like you can kind of have more
She
space in
hates
there.
it. No, she hates clutter. She's an extreme like minimalist. Like
Yeah,
doesn't like clutter at all.
yeah.
Anything.
Well, at least
So
she's a happy
but
to
I
have
told her, I was
things
like,
like
you got upstairs, I got downstairs. I'll do whatever I want. But what I want to do is, I like I haven't gotten into like the posters and stuff like that. And I've got a couple posters in here, but I would like to turn that area more into like a poster showcase room and get some
yeah.
movie memorabilia and stuff like that. And
I haven't
maybe
gotten
have a
big
couple
in
shelves for movies, but
yeah, I
you
haven't
know,
gotten big in the memorabilia stuff yet. Like I know you got some tchotchkes and you got some things that I've seen on your shelves behind you. I haven't really delved into that yet. I'm still in just the collecting physical media aspect. I have some posters back there just for
yeah,
aesthetics more than
I
anything
can only
else.
focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah, I
I
hear you.
try not to spend too much on anything else.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
But let me get into what kind of a collector you are, and you probably answered a few of these questions, but we'll retread some ground if we have to.
Sure.
Are you mostly at this point the stuff that you want you get when it comes out? Are you a day one buyer, or Or is there anything that you wait for the sale on? Is there stuff that comes out and you're like, I can wait for that to go down in price? I don't
If
have
it's
to pick
some
that up immediately.
if it's some big label, yeah, I can wait. I'm not really going after it. I did pre-order the Beekeeper. I saw you got your copy in already. So
Hmm
I will pre-order some bigger Hollywood stuff that I just want to watch and not wait for. But anything boutique that I know is limited to 5,000 or less copies, which is a lot of the boutique world,
Yeah, you
I'm
have
just
to
getting
jump
it
on
day
that.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know the stuff will go. Not everything's gonna fly in the first week or two, or even the first month. Vinegar Syndrome, Scream Factory, Shout Factory, a lot of stuff's not gonna
Well,
go
and if you
always.
really pay attention to, like, the forums and the comments on the announcements, and you can tell what people are really jazzed up for and what they're really looking to get, and you
Yep.
can tell what people are not looking to get.
Yeah, I'm
So I
starting to
kind
get
of
into.
gauge what I'm going to get off of
I'm
that.
trying to read and watch the digital bits and some of the other online forums, and I know he's one of the best in the biz when it comes to informing people.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's hard to keep up on everything. And like, I'll give you one example: unlawful entry. I know you had a video about this. I had it in my cart. I was working out one morning. I'm like, I'm gonna put it in there, and I'm gonna wait around for a few days. And the next day, this shit was gone, sold out, because
Yeah.
for some reason a Blu-ray they decided to do what 2,000 copies or something,
hmm
um, or 1,600, some low run. And to
Yeah,
this
I think it was
day,
1800.
yeah,
I
they said they
think
were going to come out with a second run. I haven't seen it
they
yet because I
did.
I
They
must have
did.
missed that because I didn't get the email. I signed up for send me the email
They
whenever
might still
exactly
have
saw it.
it. They might still have it.
I'll have
Maybe
to go
look it
check
up
that out.
when we get done with this.
But yeah, man. So stuff like that now, I'm just pretty much, again, I'm selective. I don't just pre-buy everything. But if I want it, I'm not waiting. I'm just getting it.
Well, I mean, a big one for me is Kino Lorber. Like, I don't pick up a lot of Kinos day one because they have those sales every 3 months,
Yep.
and I know that I can get most of the 4Ks. Now they select what 4Ks they're going to do. They don't do every single 4K and Blu-ray on their site, but a lot of times, like the recent Kino sale, they had Kindergarten Cop. They had a lot of stuff that came out in January and February, so they had the recent stuff, December, November. So I'll hold off on a lot of that and I'll pick it up for 17.99. Now, sometimes there's ones that I just really want. Like I grabbed Kindergarten Cop day one because I love that movie.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted it with the slipcover, didn't want to miss out on it. Face Off as well. I grabbed day one.
Well, and the other interesting part that I actually kind of wanted to ask you, I'm not at this point yet. Well, maybe I will be. I haven't put a PO box up on my channel. I'm about to do that. And if studios begin to reach out to me, I will thankfully take whatever I can get. But sometimes, like, I'm sure you don't always know what the hell you're going to get, and you might be assuming you're going to get some studios send you stuff to review. So you're like, do
Yeah.
I buy this? Do I not buy this? Like, you don't always know what they're going to send you, right? So
Yeah.
that's a whole different element to your collecting as well, too.
Yeah. I especially don't with MVD because they'll just randomly start sending me stuff. Like I started getting Radiance films. I'm like, oh, this is through you all. Eureka,
Yep.
they sent me the other day. Um, they'll send me their dirty, schlocky porn titles like Frivolous Lola. It's like I don't put in to get that stuff. I really don't.
Well,
Now
that's
with
the
the
thing about.
studios, usually you'll put in to get stuff with the studios. Like you have to request things
See,
specifically.
I didn't know how that actually worked. One day I, maybe perhaps will
MVD is
figure it
just
out.
like take it, just show it off, whether you like it or not.
Well, that's part of
And
the
I
vinegar
love it.
syndrome
I
journey
mean, I
too.
like having all this stuff to be able to showcase, and it's stuff to create content for me. I like talking about it, and
Yeah,
some of it I watch, and some of it I won't. Some of it I may watch later, but I can't get to it all when it comes in. Uh, if it was my full time job, I could, but
yeah.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not there.
I mean, you're mid level, even though I think you're
I'm
pretty
mid
high
level, and
level.
I'm going to stay there.
I think you're pretty high level myself, but
Yeah,
you call yourself whatever you want to call yourself.
right in the middle. It's very self deprecating, but that's how I like it.
Oh man.
All right, so there is some stuff you'll wait for the sale on. Do you buy a lot of mainstream releases? Like you said, you buy the Beekeeper, or do you try to keep it mostly boutique?
If it's a like I didn't buy Barbie, I just wasn't really. I haven't even seen it yet. Like I
Do you
heard it
see
was
a lot of
good
movies in the
from.
theaters?
No, I used to. The last movie I went to go see in the theaters was Asteroid City, which was a strange ass
Oh my
movie.
god.
So strange. I mean, I
It probably
like
did
Wes
look
Anderson.
gorgeous though in the theater though.
It did all that
It was a
color
beautiful
palette
movie.
with the aqua blue skies and the sandy desert. But yeah, I mean, I like Wes Anderson. I get his stick, if you will.
Yeah.
But with being so into home theater, I'm okay waiting for it to come out. Like I didn't go see Dune, even though I'm dying to go see part two. I'm waiting for
I
it to
mean, the
come out on
4K
physical.
comes out in May.
Yep, I
It's
already got the
like this
pre-ordered.
stuff
Yep.
doesn't take long anymore. Like
No, it
it's
doesn't.
and time
Oppenheimer was a
flies.
tough one. I wanted to go see it in IMAX, but I didn't have an IMAX theater close enough to me. I'm in Northeast
Yeah.
Ohio. Not like, I'm north of Youngstown, so about an hour from Cleveland, an hour from Pittsburgh. So I'm right in the middle of two major cities, but there's not a close IMAX, so I didn't want to go see it without seeing it in its truest form. So yeah, I'll go. I just typically just wait for them to come out on physical and just pre-order if I want it. But yeah, I will pre-order the big stuff like Dune Part Two, Oppenheimer. But I didn't go see those in the theater. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I just hey, if I like it, I'm buying it, man. And if it's boutique, like nowadays, anything Arrow puts out, anything that Kino Lorber puts out, not their newer stuff, like when they redid Leviathan, I think it's called. The
Yeah.
underwater
Leviathan.
creature. Yeah, so I hadn't seen that. Still have to watch it actually, but had never saw it, and it's going to be a first time watch for me. So
It's a good
these
movie.
that's what I've heard.
I liked it.
Obviously, with the Abyss, I think that it came out similar time frame with the whole James Cameron thing, or a little bit before
Yeah.
that. But yeah, so I'm pre-ordering. If I see like your physical media report, which I know is one of the things that really catapulted your channel, that and your Lionsgate coverage. But like I watch your shit like religiously, and your report.
I'm sorry.
Um, no, hey man, it's my wife. You should probably apologize to. Um, she knows I'm down here doing
One
this
of these days,
connecting.
I'm gonna have like 100 wives at my
Yeah,
doorstep with pitchforks.
I told her I had this interview to do, and she doesn't know with who. If she knew it was with you, she might come
She'd
on the
be
back
all,
here. She might be, why are you making him buy all this stuff? But no,
damn.
I listened to what you put out, and I'm like, if that sounds good, I'm pre-ordering it. So I just, and I'm starting to use your links for support, of course. But
I
yeah,
appreciate that, buddy.
whatever I see that I want, I'm pre-ordering, man. It's a bit of a double-edged sword sometimes, but I
Yeah.
love it.
Well, let me ask you this. So you'll blind buy boutiques for packaging without hesitation because it's a beautiful box set. Do you do that as much for studio stuff? Like if it's just a regular Blu-ray slipcover edition, do you pre-order those as often blindly?
No, it's definitely more for the boutiques for whatever reason.
Like movies that came out in the theaters, I guess is what I mean. Like,
Oh, well, like Possessor, Brandon Cronenberg. That's a second sight release that also had a previous big label release. I had the 4K before Second Sight did it,
so
but
you
it was
bought
just
it.
an yeah, it was just an Amaray case, nothing special. But because it was Second Sight, with the packaging, with the poster, with
Yeah,
I'm not a
I'm
big
with you.
art cards person. Like I don't know about you, Ken. Like I don't reopen my stuff up and like have to flip through the art cards again.
Mm-mm.
But I will read the books. I try to read the books and to learn about you know
Yeah.
the story behind the
I actually
story.
read most of the Possessor one, and
Yeah, and that's just
I
a
never
great
read through all
movie.
the books,
I mean that.
but I love that movie so much, and every time I watch it, like I love it more.
Yeah,
I just get so
and
much more into it, and I think it's like one of my all-time favorites now.
I think Brandon Cronenberg is off to a great start. He's going to
I
be
loved
like his
Infinity Pool
father.
too.
Infinity Pool was amazing,
Yeah,
and Possessor as well. And he has one other one, Antiviral, I think, which I haven't seen yet.
yeah, I need to watch it.
That's the only
I'm
book that
counting
I've read.
on that getting some kind of like special release so I
Yeah,
can pick it
no,
up.
I just love Cronenberg's in general. David and his son Brandon
Yeah,
so far. I've seen all of Cronenberg's stuff so far.
David was a slow burn for me to get into. There's a few of his films because I tried to start at the beginning one time to get through everything.
Yeah,
You did an entire ranking
I did.
recently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all of
so
his stuff
I
up
didn't
until
watch all of it. I think I got through like 12 or 13 of his movies because up until that point I think I'd only seen The Fly and History of Violence.
yep. Yeah,
So I
no,
got
I
through like
just
12 or 13 of his movies and I didn't like Shivers. I just
nah.
thought it was super low budget, and I
It
just
was. It was
didn't.
one of his earlier films.
I just didn't think it was very well made, and I didn't enjoy it. Rabbit, I thought was slightly better than Shivers, but I didn't
Kind
really
of the
enjoy that
same.
one either. It
Yep.
wasn't until I got to The Brood where I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is an actual like film
Yep.
with some merit to it, and I like this. And then Scanners, I was super hyped to watch that. And outside of like that opening moments with the
Yeah. With
head,
the head
I thought
explosion.
the movie was so freaking boring.
I thought so
Like
too. I actually fell
the
asleep
entire
during it.
time.
I think I had it ranked ninth because it was, while it wasn't like the
It
worst,
was so hyped up for me, and
it
I
was
was like,
so hyped up. And
yeah,
why I like it, I guess, but you're right. It's a slower movie, but I ranked it higher because of the whole idea of human ability beyond
yeah.
like,
It's one I'd be open to
just
watching again, and maybe I would appreciate it more. But
yeah,
sometimes I don't know if you're like this, but a movie will be hyped up so much you'll go into it and watch it, and it just will not meet that expectation,
yep,
and you'll be. It results in you being negative on the movie.
yeah,
But then you'll
and
go back
that's
and watch it a couple years later, and you're like, okay, this is actually better than I thought it was because my
yeah.
expectations were lower going into it this time.
Correct. I do have to rewatch Scanners for that exact reason. I've only watched it once, and I'm like, I got to go back and revisit it and see if I like it
Yeah.
more at this
But
point.
then I got to Videodrome, and I freaking
Different
love Videodrome.
game changer, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that
my
one's just,
favorite.
and that's Cronenberg at his finest.
Yeah.
That's just
But a
that's
lot of
one.
that was
That
James
was
Woods. I'm just a big James Woods fan. I love
yeah.
him.
Which ironically, it's the only time he appears in any one of Cronenberg's filmography. Like it's strange. Like you know how a lot of directors will. Cronenberg's one of these guys too, where um, he will have the same actors or actresses come back for a lot of his films, and for whatever reasons why James Woods was the only that was the only appearance he did, if I'm not mistaken, in all
Yeah.
22 of his current films. I do love me some what's his name? Oh man, Skarsgård, I think.
Alexander Skarsgård.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, he's in a
Bill
lot of.
Skarsgård. Stellan
Uh,
Skarsgård. There's a lot of Skarsgårds.
I'm trying to think of why am I drawing a blank on his name right now? It'll probably come back to me. He's in a lot of it's not
Viggo
Skarsgård.
Mortensen.
That's it. Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking. Yeah,
Yeah, History of
Mortensen.
Violence. I saw that in the theaters. I love that movie.
History of
That
Violence.
was one I didn't even know like it was a Cronenberg movie. I wasn't even
Yeah,
familiar with
Viggo
Cronenberg.
Mortensen. I don't know why I was drawing a blank, but yeah,
Eastern Promises. I watched for the
Eastern
first time
Promises.
last year and really liked that.
Love that film.
And
Yeah,
Crimes of the Future, I actually liked a lot.
yeah, I did too. A lot of people throw hate on it,
Yeah,
but
I liked
I
it a lot.
liked it. I thought he did an amazing job in it.
I thought that
Yeah.
was a
So
throwback to his older like Videodrome stuff.
yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what was the other one I watched? It was damn.
Existence.
Yeah, from Vinegar Street. I did watch that
Yep.
recently. That was okay. I didn't love it.
Yep. Yep.
But there was one I watched. It had Jeremy Irons in it. What is that one?
Is it a Cronenberg film?
It's a Cronenberg film. They were Dead Ringers.
Dead
I
Ringers.
wasn't a
Yeah.
big fan of Dead Ringers.
Yeah, the whole twin thing and
Yeah,
how they play off each other. Yeah,
yeah,
I just certain directors like what I'm trying to do right now is go down in deeply into like directors' filmography. Like I was just watching one of Fuzz's videos he just put out on Walter Hill. I've
Walter
only
Hill. Yeah.
seen two Walter Hill films, and I got
Oh,
a
he's
whole lot
great.
more that I want to see. So it's like I will just
Yeah,
spend the time.
I watched Fuzz's video too, and shout out to Fuzz because I think he'll probably be watching as well.
Yeah, he
I know he
probably
likes
will.
these interviews, and I need to get him on one at some point. Um, but he was throwing out Walter Hill movies I hadn't seen in his top 10. I was like, damn, I need to
Yes.
watch this one. Damn,
He
I need to watch
does.
this one.
He does. Yeah. I mean, whoever hasn't checked out Fuzz, do go check him out after this
Yeah.
because he and I go back and forth a lot. I love him and he loves my style. I want to get him on my show at some point in time too. Which Fuzz,
Yeah.
let me know whenever you want to come on. But yeah, he does such great ranking videos. And he's going through his Walter Hills, and I'm like, shit, I've only seen Southern Comfort and The Warriors. I haven't even seen
His
49.
filmography
But
is so like diverse, but his
yeah,
style is very distinct. His style is basically just real like gritty and realistic, and I don't know.
yeah.
I love it.
Well, I'm going to try to go down these channels and just like for a month, like just absorb all of their stuff. Like Scorsese's another one. I got to get all of his filmography, which I know is
Yeah, I did a
vast
run
as
on
well
him a few
too.
years ago, and I still have gaps. There's just ones
So
that I couldn't
it's
get to.
just there's so much you can get into, man. Which is again so much of the passion and the fun behind this hobby. It's not just the films. It's when you have all the packages. Like I have all my Cronenberg films all in a section, and you can see that and feel it and touch it and kind of pull
Yeah,
apart
it's
the
cool.
films. And it's just a cool thing, man. Something that I'm happy to be a part of. You know,
The Palma's one that's really grown on me over
yeah.
the past couple of years. I'm trying to see all of his movies
Brian De
at some
Palma. Yeah,
point.
I have not seen enough, and being so what I feel like behind in this physical media space will suck you in. And like you said earlier, if there's any regrets, it's like shit. Why didn't I start earlier? I'm 43 years old now, a little
Yeah,
older than you.
I
It's
feel
like,
you.
damn, man. There's a lot of films to watch, a lot of physical media to collect, and no
But
time like the
sometimes I
present.
feel like I said, I got into this at just the right time because I don't know if 24-year-old me would have appreciated some of these films like
That's
30
true.
or 38-year-old me is.
That's very
So
true, and I can definitely feel the same way that you do on that too. And it does help to have more disposable income as well. I wouldn't have been able to probably have afforded this hobby, 10 years ago. So I'm happy
yeah,
to be able to afford to do it now.
for sure. Which boutique label is at this point is your favorite out of all of them?
Vinegar Syndrome, probably without a question. I mean, I love Arrow Video and I love Radiance and I love
Yeah,
so many of them. Second Sight and
they just make it fun with
yeah,
vinegar.
Vinegar is they're a little
So much
schlocky and
variety and
yeah,
packaging and
but they do it right. And you always talk about how Scream Factory has got to get it together because their announcements they're not on the same page and this
yeah.
and
I mean, Screen Factory's
Vinegar.
got the titles. I mean, they got the popular movies.
Yeah,
Um, but they ain't got the packaging together. That's for damn sure. Or
no,
the service.
no, and Vinegar Syndrome does. I mean, when I've had to have that, there hasn't been any quality issues, and when there is, they're all over. Like the whole Showgirls thing, which
Mm-hmm.
I guess there was that little audio issue with, and they took
You
care
ain't
of
even got to
that.
do nothing. Yeah.
I know they just took care of it. As a matter of fact, whenever I think I ordered my VSU of it. They had already sent inside of the package. They had the corrected disc already in it. It's just like they're so on top of their shit there. So I do wish that they'd be better with the sending of their orders, even as a subscriber. I mean, I got April's subscriber package the 20th. At the time of this recording, today is the 22nd or 21st. So I got it just a day ago. And usually the subscribers get their stuff in the first week or two. And if you're not a subscriber, if you make an order, it's like you're getting like a whole month later. So I love you, Vinegar Syndrome. I just hope you hire more people for your shipping and manufacturing because
Yeah.
that's what the problem is. They just take too long to get stuff sent to you.
Which, I mean, at this point, you would think they've grown as a business. They should
I know.
have more people employed to be able to handle that workload.
But I do love them though. And, you know,
Or have pickers that are faster, damn it. Have them
their
pack
4K,
faster.
their
Get
4K
yourself
scans are
some
fun.
quotas in place.
Their 4K scans are amazing, but what's crazy about them, and you know this too, I think they don't do a lot of Dolby Vision. Like it's just HDR, it's just 4K. Like they don't add a lot. And then again,
Yeah.
for some of their stuff, you can argue you don't need it, I guess. But
Yeah.
as they get more into the bigger name stuff, you're gonna want to
Dolby
see stuff
Vision is
like
always nice to have, but it's like for me, as long as it has HDR,
right,
um,
right.
I'm good. Um, I, to be 100% honest, when it comes to Dolby Vision and HDR, it's like it's hard to notice
You don't
at
notice it
this
until you
point.
put them side by side, and even then, like
Yeah,
like I do the side by sides on my channel. I
it's
like to
not
do that kind of stuff.
as like in your face noticeable unless
No,
you were to do like side by side.
if and even if you were to do a Dolby Vision side by side to just HDR, like you were to turn on Dolby Vision on your player and then turn it off, it is noticeable, but only in a side by side. And it's like when you're watching the film on your screen, it doesn't make any difference. Who would watch it with a split screen side by side? Who would do that if you have
Yeah.
a 80-inch
It's
TV
just
or
not as
whatever?
noticeable as like, the jump from Blu-ray to 4K with HDR.
Right.
The jump from 4K HDR to 4K with HDR and Dolby Vision.
But in films with like
But I
Barbarella,
like to have it because I want the best
yeah.
that's available.
And when you're talking about big color, like Barbarella came out
Mm,
November of last year, that
it's one of the
film
best.
with the true sets and the coloration, oh my god, that was such a blow your socks off, like unexpected surprise. I hadn't even heard of that film. It made me
I
appreciate
was
big
jumping out
color.
of my seat.
It made me
I was just
appreciate
like,
Jane
this.
Fonda in a whole nother way. A whole nother way.
Yeah, especially the opening 5 minutes.
And no kidding.
Um, but yeah, that freaking movie was wild. The movie itself blew me away, but also like the transfer when I was watching, I was like, this is like the best that I've seen all year.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just
it
it's the
was.
kind of 4K that I like.
Yes.
It's grainy as hell, but it also is super clear and has a lot of clarity. The
Yes.
colors are there, just in your face, and
Yep.
I don't know, I loved it.
Yeah, it was great, man.
Loved it. But then the Warriors came along and
Yeah.
was
Walter
incredible as
Hill.
well.
Yeah, Walter Hill.
Incredible as well. So you collect steel books. You also collect slip covers. Which do you prefer, steel books or slips? There's a
Ooh,
war going on, Ken.
that's a
Steel
tough one,
books
man.
versus slips. What side do you take if it comes down to it?
So I'm gonna say, as much as I love a steelbook, I'm gonna side on slipcovers because if I
Because
have
you
to
only
try to,
collect the Lionsgate steels, and those have slip covers. So
that's kind of true, and that's kind of where I was going. I do have other steelbooks, but I now love that you. Why wouldn't you put a slipcover on a steelbook? Like
yeah,
it's I guess people who were making steelbooks didn't think of it because let's be honest, they call them steelbooks, but they're not. I mean, it's a variant of steel, I guess, but they dense and they can break. It's not like it's
yeah,
solid, but they need slipcovers. Damn it. So
they
yeah,
do.
I like cardboard. I am on team cardboard. I am going to go after
Me
a
too.
slipcover more than a steelbook.
I turned heel on steel books last week. Um, they're my
I
enemy
saw
now.
I
They're
saw one of your videos. You said you were done with them or something.
I'm
Well,
done.
and Lionsgate, I love them, and you've given them so much props and coverage too. But you're right, though. I mean, let's see what these prices do as they go throughout the year. But my God,
They
going from
just
pricing,
announced their first Amazon exclusive Lionsgate steelbook.
interesting.
Not announced. There's no like images of it, at least not as of right now that I'm recording this.
Yeah.
But the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare,
Hmm.
there's a steelbook up on Amazon to pre-order right now,
Interesting.
and it says Amazon exclusive steelbook.
And what are they
And
putting
I
up for
I
50
think
bucks or something?
that's what I'm curious about, because people will say that Walmart is the reason that the prices went up. People will say no, Lionsgate does the pricing. Well, why was it cheaper at Best Buy than it is at Walmart now?
Right. Where
So I
was it
think that
because Best Buy?
we'll see what happens with Amazon. I feel like it'll be the same as Walmart. I feel like it'll go up for
Probably.
like
And
35 bucks,
yeah, you know how sometimes Amazon puts those.
especially with a newer movie, because the Lionsgate steals for newer movies were always over 30 at Best Buy even.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be 35.
Well, and those Amazon prices usually come down as they get closer to anyway. So I never pre-order on
Yeah.
Amazon unless it's like I know it's going to sell out real fast. It's like let it come down.
I got so burnt on that Columbia Classics Volume 4
I know you did.
because
It's like
it wa-
120
I
bucks
got
now.
it for like 230. Now it's been $140 for
Yeah.
2 months and it's not selling out. But they just conditioned me to buy those day one because the first one sold out. And you know how much the first one goes for now? It's like eighteen hundred
I was
dollars on
I
eBay.
was holy shit. It's that much?
Yeah,
Good
that's
lord.
now the person that's selling it for 1,800 is sealed, so I don't know if mine would sell for that much. But I think I saw some unwrapped ones for like 14 or 15 or something.
Which I did, by
So
the way, side note, appreciate your unboxing video of just opening up all your old packages. Like, I thought that was pretty cool to see. I know you were
yeah,
just throwing money away
I'm regretting it now.
as you unbroke the seal. But like you said, and like I said, you're not going to sell them anyways. I mean, chances are you're not going to
I
sell them
was looking at
unless,
some of those German media books and like the Hitcher one that I have because I just got the umbrella set.
yeah,
It was going for $100 on
it's
eBay right
crazy,
now.
man. I mean, you
I'm
could
like,
make some serious coin if you wanted to.
I can't even remember who sent me all of those, but they literally sent me like 30 of them. So
I don't know, man. If I, God forbid, I ever need the money, I could, but I don't ever intend to sell
no,
this
I don't
stuff.
ever want to
I
sell
love it
anything
too
either.
much. I love
I
it
don't
too
ever want
much.
to
It's
sell
gonna,
anything either.
whoever it gets willed to after I'm dead and gone in this world, I don't know. I don't have kids, so it's like someone's gonna, a nephew or something's gonna take over this, and who knows what the hell they're
Yeah.
gonna do with it. But I'm gonna damn for sure
But
give
who
it a
knows?
thought.
Maybe by the time, one of my kids, it's time for them to go to college, I'll be able to fund their entire college tuition. Maybe by then I'll just be like, you know what? I just want those 50 movies in my collection that I've loved since I was a kid. I'll get rid of all this other
At
stuff.
some point, as you do run out of space, it does become like, what do you do? Maybe you know what I did find out recently. I was watching Susan, I think her name is. She has a channel.
Movies
Um,
ensue.
yeah, yeah. So she went to Bull Moose, and there's none around me or you. They're up in the Northeast. But I saw her like walking around. It's like a physical media store. Not a. It's kind of like a Best Buy, but they have brand new and used physical
Yeah.
media movies, and
They
she
have
can
an
trade your
online
stuff in.
presence. Like you can order stuff online from
But
them,
can you
boutique
but can
stuff.
you send in like your old stuff that you don't want anymore? Because I
I
saw
don't know if they have
she
that.
she carried in some stuff and they bought it back for her from her, which like the ones that they wanted to get off of her, and they gave her store credit. It was either cash or store credit, but you get more in store credit than what you do cash. So she took the store credit and was able to just, keep on going and getting shit for free,
Yeah.
essentially. So it's like that's one way to recycle, and kind of like if you have upgraded 4K and there's not new features and you have no need for the Blu-ray anymore, as you amass a collection, if you were to go to a place like that will take them off you and give you a credit, then it's kind of like, I don't know, getting new stuff for free. I don't know.
Yeah. Do
Something
you
to
have any of
think
those
about.
places around you?
I just have the exchange places like Game Exchange, kind of like you do. Ours
Yeah.
is
I was
called the
saying
Exchange. It's not
I
called
was
the
gonna say that
Exchange.
because there's another YouTuber by the name of Alex Thomas, and I think he lives up by Cleveland,
Yeah, it's called
around that area, and he's always going to the exchange
yeah, it's called the
in his
Exchange, and
videos.
that's, I mean, besides like we have Barnes and Noble, but they don't do that. There's some other like you have the half price books. Like I wish I had some of those around here, but I don't have half
It
price
used to
books.
be a
I have
lot
the
better than
sale.
it is. They've jacked up those prices on
Mm,
some of them. Now their clearance section is still $3 for Blu-rays, which is
yeah,
nice because sometimes I can find some good stuff in there, but oftentimes it's just the super common stuff that nobody gets for a reason.
yeah,
Or because everybody already has them all, or they just suck that bad.
yeah. It just sucks that we can't go into
It's like
stores nowadays.
Twilight and Hunger
I just miss
Games
being
and
able to go in and like to a Best Buy, even though it's been a few months removed, and just be able to grab what you
yeah,
want. You know?
I miss the good old days, but they're behind us. Walmart's trying a little bit. We'll see how that develops, but I think it's just something we have to adapt to. It's just moving more online, and
It is what it is. This whole physical media is dead bullshit's not true. It's not going to ever die. It's just
no,
evolving. It's crazy because it probably one day will be like vinyl music. I mean, that's the other um, very expensive hobby that I have here as well too. Where I think 20 years from now or whatever, it'll probably people will realize what they missed out on, and they'll come back and they'll bring it back into Best Buys and Target, just like they are with vinyl music now. I don't know. I was
yeah.
having a debate with someone online about that,
I
saying,
mean, I think it's cool. Like my wife went out on Friday to buy the Taylor Swift vinyl, and it's like
well,
there's a lot of people that are going out to buy her CD and the vinyls, and
there's a
it's
different
still
sound on
physical
vinyl.
media.
There's a
You know,
different sound on vinyl. There's no doubt about that. It's more of a warmer,
to
softer
me, it's
sound
all a
on it.
win for physical media, whether it's vinyl or CD or movies or video games. It's
People were realizing, man, and it'll be with movies too, that they're gonna miss the tangibility of having it and owning it and touching it, just like they do with
yeah.
vinyl and CDs.
I
It'll
always
go
say
back to
we're
square one,
we're
right?
physical beings,
Right.
you know, so we like physical stuff. I feel
Yep.
like there's something inside us that just makes us gravitate towards that.
I think so
You
too.
know, it's
I
the
love it.
same way that books. They we thought those were going to go away at one point when the
Right. It's the
e-readers and
whole
Kindles came in, and then it just
people
they
realize they
went away.
preferred to hold it. They preferred to hold
But
it,
I
open it,
will
write it,
say,
touch it.
I have said before that is different than movies, just because the experience of reading a book is different
Yeah.
than watching it on a movie on a screen. Because the experience of watching a movie is that unless you just are super in tune with the quality stuff,
Yeah.
it's the same for most people. Whether you're watching on streaming or you're watching a physical disc, the actual experience of watching it
Yeah.
is the same. Whereas with a book, it's different because you're flipping the pages, you're holding it, you're
True.
feeling it the entire time,
Yeah.
as opposed to the Kindle. You're just on the little thing doing it with your finger. It's just a different experience.
Yep. And that's why Barnes and Noble is still in existence and bookstores still are.
Yeah,
So yeah, totally agree with you, man.
I'm happy about that.
Same.
All right, so we already talked about blind buying. That's what you do most of.
Yep.
Do you shop at a lot of thrifting locations? Do you do a lot of thrifting, or is it mostly
starting to
new?
starting to get more into it. I think because again, there's just not a lot of places to go to get physical films or movies,
Do you buy
physical
any used
media.
stuff online?
Yeah, I mean, again, eBay is probably where I'd mostly buy used stuff online, but I do like my wife loves to thrift just in general. So I have now found commonality with her. I'm like, sure, you want to go to Goodwill? You want to go to the Salvation Army? You want to They don't always have a
Yeah.
ton of stuff, but there's records there for vinyl, there's movies there, physical media. I even have recently bought a few VHS tapes. My all-time
Yeah, I've
favorite
gotten into
movies.
VHS collecting a little bit now.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm
Only if it's cheap. I'll only
cheap
spend
and if
50
it's
cents to a dollar.
I'm trying to be like you where it's like, hey, if it's not going to get, if it's only on VHS or maybe it only had a DVD, it's not likely to have a whole lot. I'll get something or if it's just nostalgic to me. Like I got The Matrix on VHS because it's my all-time favorite movie. So I
Yeah.
own so many different versions of The Matrix. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to grab it even though I'm probably not going to watch it. Or maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe I will get one of those like CCTV things and,
I always
you know,
think it's cool. I follow a lot of like retro accounts on Instagram, and
yeah.
they'll use like the 80s filters, and they'll have the
Yeah.
little TVs, and they'll pop in the tape, and it always fills you with a rush of nostalgia.
It's just cool with how the history and the historical context of how that stuff works. But yeah, man, I will thrift and I will go with the wife usually and just see what these places have. And occasionally, I'll buy something that you know, I decided that yeah, I'm gonna snatch it up. But there's not normally a lot of gray stuff. I don't have a lot of success in finding, oh my god, this hidden gem was there. But yeah, but I will though. I will.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so we kind of covered this a little bit, but do you pretty much just buy 4K Blu-ray now, or do you still find yourself buying some DVDs? Do you have any sort of like DVD collection, whether it's from a few years ago that you still hung on to, or are you actively collecting any?
Truthfully, not actively collecting, and I really don't have many DVDs. And to be truthfully transparent as I always am, the ones I've recently purchased, quite frankly, were to do side by side comparisons. Like I bought The Abyss on
Yeah,
DVD because I wanted to do a DVD versus 4K Blu-ray comparison, just because it never got a Blu-ray. And of course, the 4K is going to crush it. But I'm not actively looking for DVDs. But like we just said, as I'm trying to categorize my films and go through my catalog, if I'm out at a Salvation Army or a Goodwill or some thrift store and I see a random DVD that's kind of obscure looking, I'm going to look it up and see if it ever got a Blu-ray release. And if it never did and it looks interesting, I'll grab it on DVD.
yeah,
But I'm not actively searching out for it. I kind of got that idea from you, and it kind of made sense. Like this may never get a Blu-ray, let alone a 4K. So, and if it does, then so what? Then you have it. And if it does, I'll do a side-by-side comparison of it, maybe. Because I do like doing those kinds of things. But outside of
I've
that, no, I wouldn't say I'm actively collecting them though.
I've gotten to where I'm pretty okay with DVD at this point, just because I've watched a few in the past like month or so on my plasma back there,
Yep.
and they actually look pretty decent.
On a plasma, I would bet that they probably do. I
Yeah,
still have a plasma.
but the problem is I watched a couple on my 65 inch out there,
Doesn't
and they
look so
looked
good.
horrible. And I was like, I never want to. I watched Stand By Me for the first
Yeah.
time on DVD on it,
Well,
and I was
what's
like, this is crap. Of like DVD sucks. I'm never watching DVD again. But now I've kind of changed my perception on that after watching them on that TV. I'm like, okay, as long as I watch them back there, I'm good.
Well, I learned a new term recently because of buying some DVDs like The Abyss and True Lies. Anamorphic is a term that basically
Yeah,
means it stays small or stays big, and some of them are not anamorphic. I think so. When I threw on True Lies, it was like I have a 120-inch projection screen. It was like shrunk down to like a square, and I'm
yeah,
like, what the hell is this? I couldn't. Granted, I guess it made the definition a little bit better. Had it spread it out, it wouldn't have looked very good. I don't think, but
yeah. That's what I think Stand By Me was like that, and I also think Ernest Saves Christmas was like that because I tried
Ernest Saves
watching that
Christmas.
one Christmas out there, and I think it's on Hulu, so I didn't have to. I watched it on Hulu this past Christmas or Disney Plus, one of the two, because I love that movie. But I think the year before I watched the DVD, and I had to like fix my settings on my TV to make it fit because
Yes,
it started
yes.
off like the little square.
But
But then
that's
when I
why
did that, I just stretched it and made it look worse. but I was like, I
That's
can't watch it without it taking up the whole TV.
But see, if your old plasma's still going, I have a 42-inch plasma in my bedroom that it's
Yeah,
still
that's what that is.
it's heavy as hell, but it's still plugging away. And for stuff like DVDs, it's probably
Yeah, I
still
bought
worth to
that
have.
in 2006.
Yep.
So it was like when plasmas were first, the flat screens were first getting started.
And you better make sure if that was getting hung on a wall, you better make sure it was going in studs. Those things are heavy as hell.
Yeah, I bought an entertainment center, I think in 2006 for it, and it was hung up in the center of the entertainment center, and there was like a big thing that it
Well,
was.
they say they burn out eventually, but yours is still going strong. So,
So it's almost 20 years old.
I like that you have it back there for the aesthetics, of
Yeah,
putting a film on that you're talking about. I like that.
yeah, I tried, or at least something that has to do with what I'm talking about. I just randomly put on brain damage back there for this
Eh,
interview.
maybe that was just how you were feeling, man.
But
Maybe
is
that's
it
exactly
random
why.
because you showed off Basket Case a couple of times in this video already?
That's
And
true.
that's a Frank Henenlotter film, both Frank Henenlotter films. And I
Yeah,
have Basket Case right here.
I have not watched this
So
yet.
I
It'll be the first time to
preemptively
watch
knew
the
you
movie.
were going to pull that out a couple of times through
Isn't
on
that
brain
funny?
damage. I
Isn't
still
that
need to
funny?
watch Frankenhooker.
Frankenhooker. Yeah, I've not seen that one either yet. I have so much films to try to watch, Ken. I feel like such a rookie in this space, but I am learning so much as I go.
Well, a very
Um,
wise man on YouTube once told me, I think in a conversation like this, his name's Elliot Cohen. He
uh-huh.
said, everybody is at different points in their film journey at different times.
This is true.
So everybody feels inadequate about how many
Yes.
movies they've watched at whatever points, because there's always somebody that's seen more.
I have enough inadequacies in my life in general, but now this is one more that I have to
And
catch up on.
especially when you start to amass an audience that has really does seem like they've seen every single movie ever made.
Yeah, I know, and they want to tell
But
you
I
that
love it
story.
because most everybody's super cool about it, and they're always giving me great recommendations and tips on what to
Yep.
watch next. And it's almost like having just an endless stream of recommendations and people talking about certain films. And
It
when I
really
hear
is a cool
about one
community.
movie more than another, or I start to hear about something just come up over and over again, I'm like, maybe I need to watch this.
It really is a cool space, man. I mean, I've only been a part of this YouTube, Bluetooth space for a year or so now, not even. But as I don't see myself going anywhere. I love this. It's a passion of mine. Yeah, it's a hobby. Do I care if I make money? Not really. If I ever do one day, it's not going to be enough to ever supplant what my 9 to 5 is. But I just love it. And the people here, like you said, for the most part, are all very good people. And the people who are usually, throwing darts at you, there's just going to be haters out there. They're going to always hate. But the
There's
true,
only a couple of them, and
yeah.
that's what
Well,
you
I
always
just
have to
think
remember because they're the ones that stand out, and they're the ones that are like get under
they're
your
just
skin
the
a little bit.
most miserable people,
But
I
there's
think,
only
instead
like
of
a
trying to,
couple of them, at the end of
yeah.
the day.
I just think that there's some, ill-spirited, negative people out there that, we're all human, right? So 50-50. Some of us are glass half full and some are glass half empty. Some people come to videos looking for all the good and some want to just tear them apart and look for the bad. So
Yeah,
I am a thick-skinned person that it's very hard
I
to
mean, you gotta
agitate
be
me.
on here.
Yeah, I just let it roll, man. I mean,
And
God, I
I'm
say
just
what you
getting
have
to
to
the
say.
point now. I mean, the past like few months, if I see something, some people will just want to write out like multiple paragraphs,
Yeah.
just going to town on the negativity, and I just won't even read it anymore. I'm
No,
just
it's not
like,
worth it, man.
I just delete it and block it.
I don't have time in my life for negativity.
I'm
I
just
just
like,
don't. I choose not to see it.
and there's different types of negativity. You can be negative about what I'm saying and have an opinion on what I'm saying, and I'm fine with that.
Sure.
But it's just the constant like negativity and degrading of me and my knowledge and
Yeah.
how I am on YouTube, and I just don't understand it. You know,
Some people, man, I never will
it's
understand.
like,
There's some
why are
kind
you?
of.
You've commented 50 times that you hate me and my videos. Why
So
are
why are you
you
still
still
watching?
watching? I
Yeah,
don't.
I know.
Who's the sad one here?
Well, they're still giving you the engagement, I guess. If there's any kind of a positive to it, they're commenting and they're
Yeah,
giving you engagement.
for sure. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it on the collection questions. What do you love most about collecting, and what do you love the least?
What I love most about it is just, I probably touched on this already, but just expanding my perspective of film. Like I never thought I would be such a film. I'm far from a film buff. I'm less than mid level at this point, Ken. But
Nice.
I do love just the deep rabbit trails that you can go down. And it's probably the part that I also
Yeah.
hate. Not trying to be so easy with the answer here, but it's the best and the worst of both worlds, because as good as those rabbit holes can be, they are deep, and you can spend a ton of money and time, and find yourself like prioritizing, when am I going to get on YouTube to talk about this? Because not only now am I collecting them and trying to watch them, I'm trying to make time for creating content and being a part of
I'm
this collective that's here, you know?
I'm trying just to follow my interests and instincts a little bit more than worrying about what do I have to do to review and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
That's a
Um,
good way to put it. Yeah, I'm to that point even early on. I'm not putting stuff out that I don't feel like putting out. It could be new and it might not get the most views or likes. I don't really care. If I like it, I'm going to talk about it. And yeah, the more noteworthy things like the James Cameron stuff, I'm going to of course cover as well too. It just
yeah,
so happens that it helps that I liked all those movies. I liked talking about them. I liked comparing them and seeing them, but
yeah,
yeah, time is our most precious asset, my friend. So you better enjoy whatever it is that you do and do it because you like it. So, that's what I'm trying to do here on YouTube. And I'm loving the community I've been a part of and those that I've embraced and been able to connect with, like yourself. It's pretty cool that I'm even talking to you, because I know you were a guy that just not that long ago I caught some videos on, and, here I am talking to you. So 9 months ago, you were just some guy on YouTube that I watched videos with, and now
I
I'm
get
having
it.
an actual real live conversation with. So it's a cool community, and I hope to do more of these kinds of things with more people in the space, because it's like a brotherhood, sisterhood that, there's a lot of respect for people who do this. Any kind of a collective like this, you're going to get that. But this is a really cool community who I think knows the preciousness that we have of physical media in a world where more and more things are being taken away, or it feels like you watch this because I say so, and I'm going to edit this because I think that I should. And there's tangible reasons to hold on to this stuff and to own it. And I respect that, and I think that the community does too. Even though we all have our nuances of film grain or no film grain, I still think at the end of the day, we love physical media, right?
Well said. Well said. What do you did you answer? What do you like the least?
Probably the same thing as those rabbit trails that I keep going down and trying to finish off collections.
Filling
And
all the holes.
yeah, and then like Lionsgate, that whole Rambo thing, First Blood, Last Blood. I'm like, I don't fucking need that, because I already have them back there. But no, I
No,
had to get them.
there's really no reason. I mean, it's good they re-released them. Like if you missed out on the 10 set,
Yeah, but
like,
again, to like, I had no
but
reason
why
to
is
sit there.
Last Blood $35 and why is First Blood 27? It's
But
like,
because
if
you're right,
anything, that should be reversed.
because I'm also being a completionist, though. It's like I don't need them. They only have a slipcover. That's the only thing different from what they are in that sealed up box set that I have, tin set. But I guess why I also justify the purchase is, again, that box set, that tin set. Again, I'm not going to sell it, but it's currently one of the more valuable pieces in my collection. I'm not going to open it because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to just let it sit there. So I'm going to probably get. I already have a lot of the Rambos just on 4K, but might as well just buy the new Lionsgate ones. But it's that kind of stuff that drives me crazy about it. Is the completionist in me is like, well, it's a Lionsgate steelbook, and I collect those, so I
Yeah.
have to get it. It's the part that I hate as well. Love it, but hate it.
Yeah. 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 And you'll like you're still pretty fresh into it. You'll learn to adapt your style as you go, and that might be something that you value now that you won't in 2 or 3 years. I've certainly had aspirations to complete certain lines and things before, and now I'm just like, what was I doing? You know,
Well, it's your
um,
fault because you got me on 4K Lions book, Steelbook. So,
it is my fault
but
because
I love you for it though.
I wanted to collect all the Scream Factory 4Ks, and then they started releasing a bunch of shit movies, and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah. At some point, you're
Or
right
just
though.
ones
That
that I
that
don't feel like I need to get. Like Child's Play remake is not a crap movie. Like I like it, but I don't need that on 4K for $40.
right.
You know, I'll get it at some point. Carrie 4K remake, and I don't know.
I hear you, man. I make it to that point too where I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this. But so far, I'm still in that. Hey, I have them all. I got to keep getting
I
them
mean, if you got the
temptation.
complete Lionsgate Steelbook collection, I'd probably keep going too. But I was never complete on it anyway.
Yeah. At some point, I know you were up there. And I still think you have a lot of them. But yeah, I have them all
Yeah,
at
I
this
do.
point. So the
I'm
whole
missing
Beth-Mite
like
thing threw me for a
Hacksaw
loop.
Ridge. I think I'm
I have it.
missing,
Yeah.
and
Hacksaw
that's
Ridge.
in Walmart. I see it every time I go to Walmart, but it's $25 there. and it was 20 when it came out. And I seen it
Yeah.
go down to like 15 before at Best Buy. So I'm like, I'm not getting
That
this because I've seen it
that is
lower.
kind of the cool thing about Walmart that they've re-released. Like I saw the Psycho at a Walmart, and I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
that was out of print for a long time. And I bought mine secondhand, paid $50 for it on eBay or
Mm-hmm.
something used. And I'm like, I could
But you
have
got to
just
watch them because they're re-releasing those in Blu-ray instead of 4K.
correct. Yeah, I
Yeah,
want the
some of
4K
them.
ones, obviously.
Some of them.
Yep.
Are there some movies that you can think of that you would like to see receive those premium special editions? Are there movies that you love and have loved for a long time that you're just waiting to get that kind of treatment?
Most of the
Arrow
films that
Video, Second Sight, Steelbook, whatever, 4K.
Um, to be honest, probably not. I will take anything that they throw out, but because I'm such a newer collector and was so big into the Hollywood big labels, they already have a lot of stuff that's been released, and I probably have it. Like, I'm a big Christopher Nolan fan, and who isn't probably, but his stuff is just mind blowing and amazing for me. So I have a big box set of his, 7 big blockbuster films that from Inception to I think it's Inception, Dunkirk, um, Interstellar, the Batman series. I forget what else is all in that box set. But as far as like what Possessor was a good one that just came out that I was shocked to see Second Sight do, but we already talked about that. So I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
really know if I have a great answer for where I'd go with what I'm waiting for next. But
Is there any
anything with
kind of dream
Arrow,
release you can think of?
um, I mean, this is going to sound too easy to say, but like I'm such a Matrix fan, and it's such a big blockbuster film to where if they came out with, I'm already hearing rumors like Keanu Reeves is talking about how he would rather do another Matrix than another John Wick. So
Yeah.
give me some more Matrix, even though I know that the more recent one kind of got poo pooed and shat on because it wasn't all that great. I still loved it. But if you give me anything, The Matrix, I am such a sucker for that deepness of that film that I'm buying it, whatever the hell it is. And I don't ever see a second
Did you get
sight.
all those Steelbooks?
I have everything. Yes, every single thing that I can get my
Okay.
hands on with the Matrix, I have them all, and
Well,
I've
it
been
doesn't
getting
have to
more
be
and more of
Second
them.
Sight, but I think Warner Brothers could put out a box set or something.
Yeah, and they did
Or they could
do.
license it. I mean, they could license it to somebody.
There's
I don't
something
know.
out there. I saw someone do an unboxing of the 100th anniversary Warner Brothers Matrix
They do have
movies.
nice
Yeah, but this
box
one
sets that they've done.
this one wasn't in the States. It was overseas, and I cannot
Hmm.
find like an order link for it anywhere. Like it had some special
They do
features
all
on it.
their nice stuff, Warner Brothers in the UK.
Yeah. So bring that shit to the States somehow, or at least show me a link where I can order it. I can't even get it. I would import it in a heartbeat, but I can't even find like an active live link to order it. So yeah, I mean, I'll keep it simple and easy with anything the Matrix. I don't care who it is or what they come out with. I cannot watch the original Matrix enough times. And even the sequels, which I know, weren't all that great, I still love them. Those movies that make you think, Ken, is what I'm all about. So I have to dive into it.
I've seen the first Matrix a lot, and I love it. It's a great movie. The sequels I saw in the theaters, and I don't remember liking them so much, but I haven't seen them since, so I need
Yeah.
to maybe
Revisit
rewatch
them, you
them.
never know. But nothing beats the original. And I think that Resurrections was a lot better than what people give it credit for, I think.
I, we watched it on HBO Max. Like I don't even remember too much about it. I remember it not having too much action, but I remember it thinking it had a clever spin on
Yeah,
the idea.
he was basically reinserted back in the Matrix. He died supposedly at the end of the third one. At least that's
Yeah.
how it was portrayed, and they spun it off of he was put back in the Matrix and now was an older version of himself. So it was a clever way to do it. But
And he was trying to get Trinity to help him, right?
right, yep. He basically saw it was kind of like what was it like a fleeting past memory. He saw her, and it's kind of like deja vu of, what do I know you from? Like, you just seem so familiar to me. Kind of how if you meet someone, you're like, you just seem familiar. They
Yeah.
had to play off that whole thing with her. But yeah, I mean, The Matrix, anything that you can put in front of me that's new.
It's
And
one of
like
those
you said,
movies that like I would talk about on the physical media report and just throw like a quick jab at it. The Matrix is on sale for $9.99 on 4K, but who the hell's buying that? And then
yeah,
I'm
I would
released.
be. I probably would be.
That I think they got a steel book of some kind when it came out,
Yes. Yes, it did.
and it sat at Best Buy on the shelf for like
It did.
5
But
months.
I certainly sure as hell went and bought
Not
that
as long
thing.
as Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah,
That was on the Best Buy
literally.
shelf from the beginning of 2021 until Best Buy closed its doors.
The first one was good. The second one was garbage.
I love the
So
first one. That was
yeah,
the
the first
first
one was great.
steelbook I ever bought was Wonder Woman. The first Wonder Woman
Yeah.
official like movie steelbook. I had some video game steelbooks, but Wonder Woman was the first, and then Baby Driver, I think was the
Yeah.
second one. That's when I got addicted to the
I
Best
think
Buy
you said it was
steals.
from Target too or something. Didn't you say it was a Target
So
exclusive?
the one I unboxed was a Target Blu-ray because
Oh, that's
back in
good
the day
choice.
Target would do exclusives, but they didn't get into 4K yet. But the Wonder Woman steelbook I got was from Best Buy, and I got
Nice.
both versions because that's how I got into this stuff. I started looking up channels that were unboxing things, and I stumbled upon Wonder Woman steelbook unboxings, and I was like, that's when I started learning about in-store exclusives, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna take a trip to Best Buy and get the cool packaging for Wonder Woman.
So funny. I used to always
Oh,
say
Target's
back
got one
then,
too. Let me go get that.
I used to sit back and say, why are these different stores like who goes and buys this one and doesn't buy that one? Or why would they buy that one over this one? I didn't know all that shit back in the day. I would just go buy a copy of whatever, whichever store I was in. Now I
Yeah,
understand, Ken. Now I understand.
yeah. It takes a while to get there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was double dipping on primarily in the beginning was the Marvel and the DC and that kind. I think I bought 2 copies of Ready Player One. Like Target had a lenticular and
Oh,
Best Buy
those
had
are
a
good.
steelbook 4K. And I was doing that a lot. And then all of a sudden I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I spending $40 on a steelbook? And I almost was done with steelbooks. I was like, I just like the limited packaging editions. And then
They
Lionsgate
know
came
how to hook
along
us in, man.
and started doing those slipcover editions, and I'm like back in again.
They know how to hook us in.
All right, well, we'll wrap things up here pretty soon because I've had you for almost 2 hours. Can you
Time
believe it?
flies,
We've
man.
been
We're
talking for
having fun
two
talking about
hours.
physical media, baby. Time flies.
What is your thoughts on the state of physical media right now? I know we kind of talked about this a little bit, but do you think it's healthy or do you think it's ending anytime soon?
It's healthy. It's healthy in the boutique space for the people like us and all those listening to this interview, especially at this point. If you've gone this long with us, then you're obviously die hard, and that's where this niche is fitting in. And I think it will come back around. I think as time goes on, people are going to realize that they miss the tangibility, the feel and touch of it, and I think that I hope that the demand will come back into big box retailers one day, much like vinyl music has. But I'm quite okay with it staying niche and boutique. There's still people out there that I talk to on the regular that believe like it's just gone like totally. Like if your biggest exposure to physical media is Best Buy and you're used to going in and seeing them there and now they're not, people just realize, oh, I guess you
Yeah.
can't buy it anymore. That's just your normal everyday, Joe. But as
Try
I've
posting a
grown,
video on try posting a video on TikTok and
I know.
physical media. Don't you know physical media is dead, bro?
Don't you know you can stream that stuff? Like, yeah, no shit. But I think there's always a market out there for it, and as long as the collectors keep on buying, these boutique brands are going to carry us through. And I'm excited to see what they keep doing with it. So, yeah, I think it's alive and well in its current state, and I don't see it going away ever.
It only feels like they're ramping up. I mean, there's more boutique labels popping up every single day, it feels like, and
I know.
they're all just knocking it out of the park, it feels like.
Yeah, and some,
Except for Scream Factory.
some fold. Like, what was that company? Was it Olive Films or something like that it was called recently?
All of,
And
yeah,
yeah,
all
Olive.
of.
So you're gonna have some of that contraction, but there's like you said, there's more and more. I couldn't believe how many there were when I got into this space and found out just how deep those rabbit trails go. But yeah, it's alive and well. It's not
Yeah.
going away, and I'm excited for it.
You're introduced to it with Criterion,
Yeah,
Scream Factory, Arrow, Vinegar, Kino, and then you start diving deeper and deeper and deeper, and you realize, oh, there's like 200 boutique labels. There's
I know.
legitimately like almost 200. Like if
It's
you really
nuts.
break it down and spread it out.
Like even Blue Underground, like people don't really know them, and I know who they are now, but I didn't know who the hell they were a
Yeah.
year ago. I had no idea, and I love their stuff, especially their 4Ks. They don't do a whole lot, but they're starting to kind of get back into it. I could do without Goodbye Uncle Tom, but hey, they put it on 4K. They put it on
Are you going to
4K.
keep that in the collection or are you going to sell it?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it. I'm never gonna watch it again. I hate to say that. It's just if you ever watch
There
it,
was
you
like
got
5 cuts of it though. You're not going to watch all the different cuts.
no man.
See if
You have
anyone, see if one of them resonates with you a little better.
look. I'm telling you, brother. When you watch this, please message me. I need to know how you feel. I need to know what your
It's
reaction
probably
is.
going on the back burner now since everybody says it's short. I don't need that
Uh,
kind of stuff in my life.
it's rough, man.
I gotta
It's
watch
just
Frivolous Lola before I watch Goodbye Uncle Tom.
it's just not what I thought, man. It has its place. It has its place in history for sure to kind of shock you out of it. But yeah, if you ever do watch it, ever message me.
I'll
Tell me
check it
what you
out.
thought.
I'll check it out at some point. All right, I want to know one last thing. Since you started collecting recently, what's the favorite? What's your favorite box set or special package release that you've gotten since you've started collecting? Number
Oh,
one. There
all
has to
right.
be a definitive answer here.
Definitive answer here.
The
Number
thing that you
one.
prize, the thing that's
It's
most prized in your possession.
so it's kind of a funny story, and I can't go. Well, you know what? Maybe I can go grab
You
it.
can just say it if you don't want to have to go back and get it.
Well, so this whole exorcist thing, right? I thought I ordered the Bible and it wasn't the Bible. So it's
Yeah.
not my most prized collection, but it's a funny story because I have the Exorcist right now. So it's the most memorable funny story of I could have swore I actually ordered it and I must have did it too
That thing
quickly
went in
and
15 minutes.
yeah, and then
Somebody messaged me about it on Instagram that it was up and I ordered it immediately. And thank God they did because it went out like 10 minutes later.
I got I got the steelbook version of it, which was still a nice chunky box set, but it wasn't
Yeah, that was the
it
UK one,
wasn't
wasn't it?
yeah, it wasn't what I wanted though. So it isn't my most prized in my
Was that
collection right
UK
now.
or was that the US? Was that a US edition?
It was UK because it has the little,
So they
emblems
did
like the
two. They did like a chunky box and then a Bible.
yeah, if I could turn around and grab it I would, but it's the whole way back there.
No, it's fine.
Outside of that, man, I mean, I don't know if I have like a definitive 100% like I'm super proud of of this one thing at this point in time because I'm still going. I guess if I had to say it'd probably be probably the Bruce Lee set. I'll go ahead and grab it real quick because I know you didn't
Oh,
get
the
this.
Arrow one? I didn't get it.
Yeah.
No.
I know a lot of people here. I'll be right back. It's right back here. I wouldn't say it's like my most prized, but because
You
it was
didn't
something
get
that
you didn't get both copies?
I just got the yellow one. I know there was a blue variant, I think. And
I think it
you
was
know,
red.
why I guess this is
Maybe it
kind
was
of
blue.
cool. Yeah, yeah, you're right. It was
It might have
blue.
been blue.
This is the
No.
harvest one. This is the golden harvest one. And mine actually only has I don't know how well you're gonna see this. The dents on it aren't terrible.
Yeah.
Because some of these it is on that side it's kind of dinged up. But some
I
people
don't know
have
about
issues.
you, but I don't freak out when it comes to that kind of stuff just
No, if
because
it was destroyed, it would piss me off. But
yeah, yeah.
and as good as Arrow is, I will say when this came in, it was in the flimsiest box with like a couple of air pillows. It wasn't even like properly packaged. And I love Arrow, but I reached out to them and they were like, we take the utmost caution and care and we'll give you a 10% discount. And I'm like, no, I don't. Thankfully, it's not, mutilated, but
Yeah.
at least mine was in good shape. So I'd say in my year of collecting, this was a big deal. This was like, I don't know, how much was this thing? Like 180 bucks or something. So
Yeah, it was out of my price range. I didn't get it.
it's a pretty cool set, and why I'm loving it is yeah, it's exclusive and all that, but I didn't really love Bruce Lee growing up, so watching his films now, and I'm probably halfway through this, and I know Enter the Dragon didn't come on 4K with it, but I have it separately. There's some pretty good films in this. This whole kung fu genre is something I'm trying to get into, kind of how you're getting into the whole
Yeah.
Western genre. I'm getting into this
Yeah, I
whole
still got
kung
to get
fu.
into the kung fu stuff.
Yeah. So if not this, that
I
Rambo
did like
set
Enter the
definitely.
Dragon a lot though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But this whole Bruce Lee set, that Rambo set that I that I got secondhand for $500, is a pretty cool collector's item at this point. But
Yeah.
yeah, outside of that, all my Matrix stuff probably, man.
Cool, man. Well, look, we're done. This has been Collectors of the World, episode 2. I restarted the numbering. You
I
are
saw that.
episode
Yeah,
2,
I
my
have to
friend.
watch one that I know you just dropped. So in my morning workout tomorrow,
Just
I'll
dropped
be
today.
I'll
Yeah,
be checking it
Daniel of
out.
the Cobwebs channel.
I'll be checking it
But
out.
thank you so much, Ken, for coming on. Ungraduated Media is the channel name. Definitely subscribe. I'll have the link down below. I'll also have your Instagram and your TikTok and your OnlyFans and your Patreon and
Just
Friendster and
Letterbox. It's
MySpace,
just
Facebook,
TikTok, Instagram, and Letterbox. That's all I
your
have on there.
LinkedIn, all of it
Yeah,
down
I don't know
below.
about all that. But no, man, it's been fun here. Thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure,
Yeah,
and
I appreciate you coming on, man.
thanks to all
I'll
who
let you
watched and
plug
checked it
yourself
out.
one more time. Tell them why they should subscribe to Ungraduated Media.
We have fun, man. I'm real. We keep it authentic. We talk about movies and physical media, about perspective, side by side comparisons, of course, unboxing, all the fun things with collecting. But we do talk about the films and we talk about the perspective and the learning that we can gather from them,
Yep.
which is what I love doing so much. So come check us out. Have some fun with me, kind of like Kenny Levels here. I'm just a normal guy
Just
talking
like
about
me,
film.
only just more thoughtful analysis.
I mean, we even have the same name though, bro. So it's like,
Same name.
you're
Same
5
name.
years younger myself, I guess. But
I'm
yeah,
5 years younger, but I look 5 years older.
nah, I don't know. I mean, if you saw me side by side, I don't know, man. I try to. I'm young at heart. I'll say that. You're only as old as how you feel you are. So I'm young at heart.
Yeah, I'm
But yeah, man, check
65 then.
check me out. Glad whatever you say, man. You're gonna still be on this YouTube. I'm, 75-year-old high level Kenny. Whenever you're doing this 30 years
Probably,
from now. So
probably, probably.
think back to that.
Uh, but again, man, appreciate you coming on. This was a fun show. Everybody subscribe to Ungraduated Media. Like this video as well. Hit the like button. Also, subscribe to this channel if you haven't. If you're just stumbling upon this video, hit the subscribe button here and leave us a comment. We like the comments, the engagements, and all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys later.